Peace be upon you and welcome. Let's travel through time and space to explore a fascinating theory. King Solomon and Borobudur Temple. There's this book, Borobudur Peninggalan Nabi Sulaiman, that talks about this. This book combines Islamic stories, old scriptures, and archaeological studies. Interesting, right? Imagine us walking around Java, from the magnificent Borobudur to the towering Prambanan, stopping by the smoky Mount Merapi, all the way to the beautiful Yogyakarta Palace. We have four experts: the mathematician with his calculator, the geometrician with his ruler, the archaeologist with his ancient map, and the geologist with his stones. The mathematician says, Borobudur has 504 statues, Prambanan is 47 meters tall, Merapi is a hot volcano, and the palace is beautifully symmetrical. All this is Solomon's work. The geologist laughs. Was Solomon a contractor in Nusantara? The mathematician replies, yes, a great contractor. His jinns built everything from mountains to palaces. They imagine Solomon flying over Java, saying, Borobudur will be my place of worship, Prambanan my grand hall, Merapi my stone factory, and the palace my royal residence. The archaeologist adds, Fahmi Basya sees all this. What a fascinating story. Gap 2S. Suddenly the scientist arrives. Sailendra Rakai Pikatan Hamenkubuwano, not Solomon. The mathematician smiles. We calculate numbers, you study science. Fahmi reads the Quran, we will find the answer. They sit near the palace, watching the smoke from Merapi, imagining Solomon smiling down from the heavens. We will study Quranic verses, analyze science, and use critical thinking that might reveal Solomon's influence reaching Southeast Asia. Is it possible that Solomon's magnificent buildings and knowledge reached this far? Let's uncover the hidden stories and explore this fascinating theory. Come, let's begin this journey of exploration and discovery. Solomon's jinns lifted this. He said, stack 10 levels quickly. They dove into the lava here, carrying hot stones. They carved 1,000 panels overnight. Loro Jongrang couldn't believe it. And here, jinns cut teakwood, building a wooden palace. You guys think jinns had construction contracts? Sailendra and Rakai Pikatan built these? Your science can't see jinns. Fahmi can. Solomon said, build a sacred Borobudur, a tall Prambanan, Merapi as a factory, a magnificent Kraton. They envisioned Solomon sitting on a cloud, jinns sweating or smoking because they're made of fire, carrying stones, carving reliefs, arranging wood, while birds report progress. Perfect numbers. 504 statues, 47 meters, 300 meters, jinns calculated precisely. Pure coincidence. Allah's coincidence. Quran. They made for him what he willed of elevated chambers, statues, basins like reservoir. Sabah 34:13. How science, Borobudur, 2 million stone blocks, 10 levels, no mortar. Prambanan, 47 Shiva Tower, 240 small temples. Merapi, andesite, transported 25 to 30 kilometers with no trace. Kraton, teakwood arranged symmetrically, earthquake resistant. All strange for the 8th, 9th and 18th centuries without modern tools. Engineering experts saying Borobudur and Prambanan are impossible without immense power. No evidence of wheels, cranes or transport routes from Merapi. Even the Kraton, though from the 18th century, used teakwood without large machines. Legends say jinns helped. Fahmi Basya proposes Solomon's jinns did this. Dived into Merapi's lava, 1,000 degrees Celsius, impossible for humans, carried stones to the temples, Borobudur 30 kilometers, Prambanan 25 kilometers. Carved reliefs quickly, 1,000 panels in Prambanan, and cut the Kraton's wood, 300 by 300 men. Modern science says ancient Javanese were skilled. But if jinns existed, maybe they were Solomon's subcontractors. Wild hypothesis. Jinns used supernatural powers, gravity, quantum teleportation, that science doesn't understand yet. Why Quran? This verse talks about Solomon's jinns building various structures. Tall buildings, Prambanan, statues, 504 in Borobudur, reservoirs, Taman Sari in the Kraton. Merapi becomes his workshop because jinns made of fire, Ar-Rahman 55:15, can withstand lava. Solomon, with knowledge from Allah, Al-Anbiya 21:79, might have directed jinns to unite Nusantara, from stone temples to wooden palaces, all signs of his kingdom. The Quran invites us to marvel at Allah's power over jinns and the universe. Fahmi sees Nusantara full of Solomon's project, proof of divine greatness. Critical thinking tip. Did jinns really build these, or were the ancient Javanese more advanced than science knows? Check. Are there signs of rapid work on the stones, like laser cuts, magnetic alignment, or the Kraton's wood? If there were no jinns, how did they transport Merapi's stones 30 kilometers without a trace? Supporting facts. Borobudur, 2 million blocks, no mortar, earthquake resistant. Prambanan, 47M, 1000 reliefs, precise arrangement. Merapi, stone source, no transport route. Kraton, strong teakwood, 300M symmetry. All magnificent, strange, without clear technology. Javanese legends say jinns helped, Loro Jongrang, Tamansari. Fahmi connects this to Solomon, even though science points to local dynasties. This chapter focuses on jinns as the heroes behind Borobudur, Prambanan, Merapi, and the Kraton, a synthesis of the previous 4 chapters, from carrying stones from Merapi to the temples, Borobudur, Prambanan, carving reliefs to arranging the Kraton's wood. Solomon's jinns become the unifying thread in Fahmi Basya's theory. The humorous narrative, tech guy versus science guy, enlivens the debate between faith and science, while the Quran, scientific analysis, reflection, critical thinking tips, and supporting facts bolster this wild idea. This chapter lays the foundation for the continuing story. Perhaps chapter 3 will be about Solomon's wind or his divine mathematic. If you want chapter 3 or want to change anything in chapter 2, let us know. What's next? Narrator. Imagine you're standing on top of Borobudur, feeling the gentle breeze on your face. Now imagine Prophet Solomon controlling that wind. Lift these stones for the jinn, he commands. The wind, obeying his command, lifts the stones with ease, cools the lava of Merapi, strengthens the towers of Prambanan, and whispers messages to the birds around the Kraton. Cut to a wide shot of Merapi, narrator. The wind will push away the smoke, making sure the jinn can work without interruption. Like Pak Geography said, he said, push that smoke away, don't disturb the work. Cut to a shot of Prambanan. Narrator. Pak Geometry adds, the wind helped the jinn arrange the towers, 47 meters high but still strong. Cut to a shot of Kraton. Narrator. Pak Seni laughs, and here the wind whispers to the birds, report to Prophet Solomon, the palace is ready. Cut to a group of scholars in discussion. Narrator. But Pak Saintis objects, that's just normal wind, Java's tropical pattern. Pak Physic replies with a smile, normal for you, magical for Prophet Solomon. He just snaps his fingers and the wind obeys, carrying stones to Borobudur, cooling Merapi's lava, strengthening Prambanan, and carrying the sound of gamelan from the Kraton. Cut to an animated map of Java with wind patterns. Narrator. They imagine Prophet Solomon standing in the middle of Java, the wind swirling like a giant fan, jinn flying carrying stones, birds joining the rhythm, while Merapi's smoke subsides. Cut to Pak Mathematic with a diagram. Narrator. Pak Mathematic chimes in, this wind is precise. 504 statues still standing 47 meters and not falling. Pak Saintis says, that's just a coincidence of nature. Pak Physics smiles again. Coincidence of Allah. Fahmi understands this. Quranic verse on screen. Narrator, sad 38-36. And we subjected to him the wind, blowing gently at his command to wherever he directed. Cut to scientific explanations. Narrator, modern science explains that the wind in central Java has a unique pattern. Meteorologists say monsoon winds help spread Merapi's ash, cool the hot air and carry light dust. Borobudur's 10-tier structure withstands the wind without collapsing, aerodynamically stable like a pyramid. Prambanan's 47-meter towers remain strong despite their height. Engineers say its design avoids wind resonance. Merapi erupts frequently, but the wind pushes the ash towards the sea, reducing damage. The 1006 eruption didn't completely destroy the temples. The Kraton, with its open wooden buildings, uses the wind for ventilation. The sound of the gamelan is clearly heard because the wind carries the sound. Cut to Fahmi Basya's hypothesis. Narrator. Fahmi Basya says Prophet Solomon controlled this wind, helping the jinn transport light stones to Borobudur and Prambanan without the effects of Merapi's dust, controlling Merapi's smoke so the jinn could work smoothly, and carrying the sound of the Kraton's gamelan as a symbol of harmony. Science calls it a natural phenomenon, but if Prophet Solomon was involved, that wind was his tool. Cut to a hypothetical animation of wind as a conveyor belt. Narrator, hypothesis, Prophet Solomon's wind is like an invisible but powerful conveyor belt. Cut to Quranic interpretation. Narrator. The Quran tells us that Prophet Solomon was given power over the wind by Allah, gentle but obedient, carrying whatever he desired. Borobudur stands strong because the wind stabilizes it. Prambanan stands tall because the wind doesn't knock it down. Merapi doesn't destroy the temples because the wind pushes away the ash. And the Kraton is lively because the wind carries the sound of the gamelan, all signs of God's power. The Quran invites us to reflect on nature as a servant of Allah. Fahmi sees Prophet Solomon's wind alive in Nusantara, helping his jinn and birds from the mountains to the palace. Maybe this wind carried Prophet Solomon from Saba to Java, carried the throne of Queen of Sheba and Naml 2740 to become the Kraton. Cut to critical thinking. Tip. Narrator. Critical thinking. Tip. Was it really Prophet Solomon's wind that did all this? Or has science already explained it? Investigate. Are there signs of unusual wind patterns at the temples? For example, stones placed far apart or the Kraton? If it's just normal wind, why haven't Borobudur and Prambanan collapsed for thousands of years? Cut to supporting facts. Narrator. Supporting facts. Borobudur, 10 tiers, withstanding wind for thousands of years. Prambanan, 47 meters, stable despite being open. Merapi, wind pushing ash away, temples safe since 1006. Kraton, wind ventilation, clear gamelan sound. Central Java's wind is unique. It's strange if it doesn't play a major role. Javanese legends mention living wind. Fahmi connects it to Prophet Solomon, while science says it's a natural pattern. Narrator. Chapter 3 combines the concept of Prophet Solomon's wind as the mover of Nusantara, helping the jinn transport stones, Borobudur, Prambanan, controlling Merapi to keep the temples safe, and bringing life to the Kraton with the sound of the gamelan. From Chapter 1, Impact of the Kingdom, and Chapter 2, Jinn Builders, we move on to the power of nature controlled by Prophet Solomon according to Fahmi Basya's theory. The humorous story, Pak Fizik versus Pak Sintis, continues to connect religion and science with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflection, critical thinking tips, and facts supporting this idea. The next chapter could explore God's mathematics or Prophet Solomon's birds. The choice is yours. Imagine Mr. Mathematician bringing his calculator to Borobudur, counting the statues. 504 divided 9 equals 56, 19x19 equals sign 361. Prophet Solomon said, make sacred numbers. Mr. Geometry runs to Prambanan, measuring the towers. 47 meters, 3 symmetrical angles. He said, harmony like the sky. Mr. Geology studies Mount Merapi. 30 kilometers to the temple, a neat triangle. Prophet Solomon calculated the distance. Mr. Art enters the Kraton. 300 next 300 meters, a perfect rectangle. He said, well, my palace is balanced. Mr. Scientist laughs. You think Prophet Solomon had math class? This is just a Javanese coincidence. Mr. Mathematician replies, coincidence of Allah. Prophet Solomon taught the jinn to count 10 sacred levels of Borobudur, 3 towers of faith in Prambanan, the center of the Merapi triangle, and the harmony of the Kraton wood. They imagine Prophet Solomon sitting in the middle of Java, holding a giant ruler, jinn measuring angles, birds counting statues, while numbers become the mark of his kingdom. Mr. Geometry says, Fahmi Basya is right, this is Islamic mathematics. Mr. Scientist says, Sailendra and Rakai Pikatan were just good at math. Mr. Mathematician smiles. Your science is blind to sacred numbers. Narrator. The Quran says, and everything we have created is measured. Al-Qamar 54:49. Narrator. Modern science. Borobudur, 123 by 123 m, 504 statues, 10 levels. Prambanan, 47 m main tower, 240 small temples, 3 symmetries. Merapi, 30 kilometers to Borobudur, 25 kilometers to Prambanan, geographical triangle. Kraton, 300 by 300 m, 90 degrees angles. All have strange numbers and harmony for their time. Mathematicians say 504 statues of Borobudur, 9x56, and a 19x19, 361 site show a neat pattern. 19 is a sacred number in Al-Mudaththir 74:30. Prambanan's 3 symmetrical towers, 47 m high, and 240 temples, 8x30, are not random. Geometers are amazed by the accuracy of the 9th century. Merapi forms the center of the triangle, 25 to 30 kilometers to the temples, and the 300 m square of the Kraton reflects the harmony of the temples. Fahmi Basya suggests that Prophet Solomon used sacred mathematics 19 in Borobudur as a symbol of monotheism, 3 in Prambanan as a symbol of Allah's harmony, the Merapi temple triangle as a strategy, and the 300 Kraton as a balanced palace. Science calls this the brilliance of ancient Java, but if Prophet Solomon was involved, these numbers are his action plan. Hypothesis: the jinn calculated with a sacred computer from Allah. Narrator: why does the Quran, this verse tells us that Allah created everything with measure, Prophet Solomon, with wisdom from Allah, Al-Anbiya 21:79, may have used sacred mathematics in Nusantara. 504 and 19 of Borobudur become sacred signs. The 3 towers of Prambanan symbolize monotheism, the strategic triangle of Merapi, and the balanced palace of the 300 Kraton, all proof of his knowledge. The Quran invites us to reflect on numbers as a sign of Allah's greatness. Fahmi sees Nusantara full of sacred calculations, from temples to palaces. Perhaps Prophet Solomon's legacy to Java after the destruction of Sabah, Sabah 34:16. Narrator: critical thinking. Tip: are the numbers 19, 504, 47, 300 intentionally Prophet Solomon's? Or is Fahmi just looking for patterns that don't exist? Investigate: are there other sacred numbers, 713 in Borobudur, Pramban and Kraton? If it's a coincidence, why is this harmony so precise for ancient times? Narrator supporting facts. Borobudur, 504 statues, 123 19x 19 blocks. Prambanan, 47 240 temples, 3 symmetries. Merapi, 25 to 30 kilometers triangle. Kraton, 300 by 300 right angles. Neat numbers, strange without sophisticated tools of the 8, the /9, the /18 the centuries. Fahmi links 19 to the Quran. Science disagrees, but this harmony is not speculation about Prophet Solomon. Narrator closing notes for Scene 4. Scene 4 synthesizes Prophet Solomon's sacred mathematics as the architect of Nusantara, sacred numbers 19,504 in Borobudur, 3 symmetries in Prambanan, the Merapi temple triangle, and the 300 harmony in the Kraton as proof of his wisdom according to Fahmi Basya's theory. Humorous storytelling, Mr. Mathematician versus Mr. Scientist, maintains the debate between faith and science, with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflection, critical tips and facts supporting this idea. The next scene could explore Prophet Solomon's birds or the symbol of monotheism. It's up to you. Imagine this. Mr. Insect is standing in front of Borobudur watching birds fly high above the stupa. Prophet Solomon said to her, "Patrol this temple, report to the jinn." Mr. Art rushes to Prambanan, pointing at a bird relief. The king said, "Carve my army, 1,000 panels." Mr. Geography looks at Mount Merapi. "These birds are his eyes. Boss, the lava has subsided." Mr. Arkeology enters the Kraton, hears the gamelan, and here birds bring sound. "The palace is ready." Mr. Scientist laughs. "You think birds have walkie-talkies? These are just common Javanese fauna." Mr. Insect replies, "Common to you, but magical to Prophet Solomon." He utters a word, birds fly, scouting 10 levels of Borobudur, inspecting 47 meters of Prambanan, patrolling the smoke of Merapi, reporting to the Kraton. They imagine Prophet Solomon sitting in the middle of Java, the hoopoe bird, like in Anamel 27:20, perched, saying, "Boss, the jinn have arranged 504 statues. The wind stabilizes the tower. The Merapi stone is enough." Mr. Art exclaims, "Fahmi sees these birds. Prophet Solomon's army." Mr. Scientist replies, "Just legends, no proof." Mr. Insect smiles, "Proof from God, birds understand language." Narrator, the Quran states, "And he sought among the birds and said, 'How is it that I see not the hoopoe, or is he among the absent?'" An-Naml 27:20. Narrator, science tells us that Central Java is full of birds. Bird experts say Borobudur and Prambanan are near tropical forests, home to various species like hornbills and swallows. The reliefs of Borobudur, 2,672 panels, and Prambanan, 1,000 plus panels, have images of birds. Art experts say these are ancient Javanese cosmic symbols. Merapi, although a volcano, attracts birds because of its fertile slopes, like sparrows patrolling the area. The Kraton also has birds. The sound of the gamelan attracts small species, and legend has it that birds sing for the Sultan. Fahmi Basya suggests that these birds were Prophet Solomon's scouts, surveying Borobudur so the jinn could arrange 504 statues precisely, checking the stability of Prambanan's 47 meters, reporting the status of Merapi's lava with the help of the wind, and bringing sound to the Kraton as a sign of readiness. Science says birds don't understand language, but if Prophet Solomon was involved, maybe he programmed them like the hoopoe that brought news of the Queen of Sheba. An-Naml 27:22. Hypothesis: birds as his mystical drones. Gap 2s. Narrator: the Quran tells us that Prophet Solomon had power over birds. He understood their language and used them as scouts. Borobudur's bird reliefs may mark his army. Prambanan's carvings symbolize guardians. Merapi becomes a base patrolled by birds. The sound of the Kraton Gamelan calls birds, all evidence of wisdom from God. Al-Anbiya 21:79. The Quran invites us to admire God's creatures. Fahmi sees Nusantara birds working for Prophet Solomon, from temples to palaces. Maybe the hoopoe led the migration from Sheba to Java. Narrator: critical thinking tip. Were Prophet Solomon's birds really scouts or just a Javanese cultural symbol? Examine the reliefs. Are there unusual birds like the hoopoe or signs of an army? If they're common birds, why are there so many at the temples in Merapi? Narrator: supporting facts. Borobudur, birds in 2,672 reliefs, forest habitat. Prambanan, 1000 plus panels with birds, hornbills common. Merapi, fertile slopes, sparrows. Kraton, Gamelan attracts birds. Birds are at every location, strange if there's no meaning. Javanese legends say birds talk. Fahmi connects this to Prophet Solomon, even though science says they're just common fauna. Narrator: closing note for Scene 5. Scene 5 synthesizes Prophet Solomon's birds as Nusantara Scouts, patrolling Borobudur, 504 statues, inspecting Prambanan, 47 meters, surveying Merapi, lava subsided, and reporting to the Kraton Gamelan sounds, according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From Scene 1, Traces of Kingdoms, Scene 2, Jinn, Scene 3, Wind, and Scene 4, Mathematics, we move to Prophet Solomon's Air Force. The humorous storytelling, Mr. Insect versus Mr. Scientist, maintains the debate between faith and science, with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflection, critical thinking tips, and supporting facts. The next scene can explore the symbol of Tawhid or the Queen of Sheba in Java. It's up to you. Imagine this. Mr. Geometry is standing in front of Borobudur, looking at the central stupa. One peak, he says. Prophet Solomon declared, God is one. Narrator Mr. Art rushes to Prambanan, pointing at the three towers. Three but one meaning, he exclaims. The king said harmony in unity. Narrator Mr. Geology looks at Mount Merapi. One mighty mountain, he says. Prophet Solomon declared, a sign of God's greatness. Narrator Mr. Arkeology enters the Kraton, holding the Yogyakarta monument. One pillar, he says. The king declared eternal unity. Narrator Mr. Scientist laughs. You think Prophet Solomon converted Buddhist Hindu to Islam? These are all Javanese symbols. Narrator Mr. Geometry replies, symbols of God. Prophet Solomon planted the concept of unity. Borobudur's single stupa on 10 levels, Prambanan's 3 towers with Shiva the highest, Merapi's single peak and the Kraton's central pillar. Narrator. They imagine Prophet Solomon sitting in the middle of Java, jinn arranging stones, wind stabilizing structures, and birds guarding, all pointing to one God. He smiles, my kingdom for Allah. Narrator Mr. Art says, Fahmi sees this. Prophet Solomon's unity. Narrator Mr. Scientist retorts, the Sailendra and Rakai Pikatan dynasties didn't know the concept of unity. Narrator Mr. Geometry smiles, but Prophet Solomon did. Even the number 19 symbolizes unity. Narrator, the Quran states, say he is Allah who is one. Al-Ikhlas 112:1. Narrator, how does science Borobudur, one main stupa, 10 ascending levels, Prambanan, 3 towers but Shiva is the highest at 47 meters, Merapi, 1 peak at 2,930 meters, Kraton, Yogyakarta monument, 1 15-meter pillar. Each has an element of one in its design. Symbolism experts say one often represents unity in ancient cultures. Borobudur's central stupa is a focus of meditation. Prambanan's dominant Shiva tower, despite having 3, Merapi's single peak dominating the landscape, and the Kraton's pillar as a cosmic center. Fahmi Basya suggests this is Prophet Solomon's unity. Borobudur's single stupa symbolizes Allah. 19x19 equals sign 361, the sacred number. Prambanan's harmony of 3 in one but one God. Merapi as one natural force, and the Kraton's pillar as a symbol of palace unification. Science calls this Javanese aesthetics, Buddha, Hindu, and Sultanate. But if Prophet Solomon was involved, this one could symbolize his faith. Narrator: why does the Quran... This verse talks about the oneness of God. Prophet Solomon, a devout servant, in Nahal 27:40, might have planted the concept of unity in Nusantara. Borobudur's single peak shows unity. Three become one at Prambanan, Merapi as one mountain created by God, and the Kraton's pillar symbolizes faith. All evidence that he invited people to Allah, like the obedient Queen of Sheba, Lama 27:42. The Quran invites us to see signs of unity. Fahmi sees Nusantara filled with symbols of Prophet Solomon's unity. From temples to palaces, maybe Java is the new Sheba with faith. Narrator: critical thinking tip. Are these one symbols, Prophet Solomon's unity, or just Javanese architectural style? Examine, are there signs of unusual beliefs, like the number 19 one pillar at Borobudur Peninggalan or Kraton? If it's a common culture, why is one repeated in these four locations? Narrator: supporting facts. Borobudur, one stupa, 19x19, Prambanan, 3 towers, Shiva dominant at 47 meters, Merapi, one peak at 2,930 meters, Kraton Yogyakarta monument, one 15-meter pillar. The element of one is present at each site. Strange if it has no meaning. Fahmi links 19 to unity. Science says it's Buddhist, Hindu symbolism, but this unity opens up speculation about Prophet Solomon. Narrator: closing notes for Chapter 6. Chapter 6 summarizes the symbols of Prophet Solomon's unity in Nusantara. One stupa at Borobudur, 3 become one at Prambanan, 1 peak at Merapi, 1 pillar at Kraton, all pointing to the oneness of God, according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From Chapter 1, tracing the kingdom, Chapter 2, jinn, Chapter 3, wind, Chapter 4, mathematics, and Chapter 5, birds, we move on to Prophet Solomon's faith. The humorous storytelling, Mr. Geometry versus Mr. Scientist, maintains the debate between faith and science, with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflection, critical thinking tips, and factual support for this idea. The next chapter can explore Queen of Sheba or the legacy of Prophet Solomon. It's up to you. Imagine this. The linguist stands before the Prambanan temple, gazing at the statue of Loro Jongrang. "This is the Queen of Sheba," he exclaims. "Prophet Solomon brought her to Java." Narrator: the artist enters Borobudur temple, pointing to a relief of a woman. "She looked upon this temple and declared, 'Your jinn have done a magnificent job.'" Narrator: the geographer observes Mount Merapi. "A land as fertile as Sheba," he remarks. Prophet Solomon proclaimed, "Our new garden." Narrator: the archaeologist enters the Kraton, touching the Bangsal Kenkono. "And here," he states, "her throne transformed into a wooden palace." Narrator: the scientist laughs. "You think the Queen of Sheba moved from Yemen to Java? This is just the Loro Jongrang myth." Narrator: the linguist replies, "A myth from God. Prophet Solomon brought the Queen of Sheba. Loro Jongrang at Prambanan requested 1,000 temples. Borobudur was her gift. Merapi became the new Sheba, and the Kraton her wooden palace." Narrator: they envision Prophet Solomon and the Queen of Sheba standing in the heart of Java, awestruck by the scenery. The Queen of Sheba inquires, "Is your palace made of glass?" Prophet Solomon smiles. "No, stone and wood, but from God. Jinn erect temples, birds circle the sky, the wind aids in construction, and the Queen of Sheba becomes the Queen of Java." Narrator: the artist exclaims, "Fahmi, look at this. Sheba has been relocated here." Narrator: the scientist counters, "There's no archaeological evidence." Narrator: the linguist smiles. "The evidence is in the Quran." Narrator: the Quran states, "Then she came to me in submission." And Nahal 27:42. Narrator: how does science Prambanan has the statue of Loro Jongrang? Legend says the princess requested 1,000 temples in one night, just like the Queen of Sheba tested Prophet Solomon, and Nahal 27:41. Borobudur's reliefs, 2,672 panels, depict a majestic woman. Art experts say it symbolizes an ancient queen. The slopes of Merapi are as fertile as ancient Sheba. Agronomists say the volcanic soil of central Java is rich, suitable for a new garden after Sheba's destruction. Saba 34:16. Bangsal Kenkono in the Kraton, with its carved wooden roof, might be a wooden version of the Queen of Sheba's throne brought by Prophet Solomon, and Nahal 27:40. Narrator Fahmi Basya suggests that the Queen of Sheba followed Prophet Solomon to Nusantara. Loro Jongrang is her Javanese adaptation, Borobudur her grand gift, Merapi the new Sheba, and the Kraton her new palace. Science says Prambanan was built by Rakai Pikatan, 9th century, Borobudur by the Sailendra dynasty, and the Kraton by Hamengkubuwono, 1755. There's no evidence of migration from Yemen to Java, but the similarities in the stories, queen, temple, fertility, are intriguing. Perhaps cultural migration or Prophet Solomon really did bring the Queen of Sheba here. Narrator hypothesis Jinn moved the throne to the Kraton. The Queen of Sheba became Loro Jongrang. Narrator, why does the Quran? This verse tells of the Queen of Sheba's submission to Prophet Solomon and God. She might have followed Prophet Solomon to Nusantara after Sheba's destruction, Saba 34:16. Loro Jongrang in Prambanan represents her. Borobudur symbolizes Prophet Solomon's power for her. Merapi is the new Sheba's garden, and the Kraton her throne, all evidence of Prophet Solomon bringing religion to Java. Al-Anbiya 21:79. Narrator. The Quran invites us to see signs of civilization. Fahmi sees the Queen of Sheba alive in Nusantara, from temples to palaces. Perhaps Java was a new destination after God's punishment. Narrator critical thinking tip. Was the Queen of Sheba really Loro Jongrang, or just a similar story? Examine the reliefs of Borobudur and Prambanan. Are there signs of a foreign queen? If there was no migration, why is Merapi as fertile as ancient Sheba? Narrator supporting facts. Prambanan, Loro Jongrang, the legend of 1,000 temples. Borobudur, reliefs of a woman, 2,672 panels. Merapi, slopes as fertile as Sheba. Kraton, Bangsal Kenkono, resembling a throne, striking similarities to the story of the Queen of Sheba. Fahmi connects it to the Quran. Science suggests local myths, but the Queen narrative opens up speculation about Prophet Solomon. Narrator closing note for Scene 7. Scene 7 blends the Queen of Sheba into Nusantara. Loro Jongrang Prambanan is her adaptation. Borobudur is Prophet Solomon's gift. Merapi is the fertile new Sheba, and the Kraton her wooden palace, according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From Scene 1, traces of a kingdom. Scene 2, Jinn. Scene 3, wind. Scene 4, mathematics. Scene 5, birds. And Scene 6, oneness, we arrive at Prophet Solomon's queen. The humorous narrative, the linguist versus the scientist, enlivens the debate of religion versus science with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflection, critical thinking tips, and supporting facts for this idea. The next scene can explore Prophet Solomon's legacy or Jinn technology. The choice is yours. Imagine this. Mr. Technology is standing in front of Borobudur temple holding a stone. He says, Solomon's Jinn lifted 2 million stones. The king commanded, assemble them without cement. Narrator Mr. Geology runs towards Mount Merapi. They dove into 1,000 degrees Celsius lava carrying andesite rocks 30 kilometers away. Narrator Mr. Geometry enters Prambanan temple. The Jinn cut the stones precisely, 47 meters high, earthquake resistant. Narrator Mr. Arkeology examines the Kraton. And here, the Jinn arranged teakwood, 300 meters of perfect symmetry. Narrator Mr. Scientist laughs. Do people think Jinn had laser beams? This is the work of Javanese people. Narrator Mr. Technology replies, machines of God, Solomon said. Build Borobudur strong, Prambanan tall, Merapi a fire factory, Kraton sturdy. The Jinn used extraordinary technology. Narrator. They imagined Solomon in the heart of Java, Jinn flying with magical tools unseen, transporting stones like teleportation, cutting wood like lasers, withstanding lava like robots. Narrator Mr. Geology shouts, Fahmi, look at that, Jinn technology. Narrator Mr. Scientist refutes, there's no proof, just the greatness of Sailendra and Rakai Pikatan. Narrator Mr. Technology smiles, your science can't see Jinn, but the temples have stood for thousands of years. Narrator, the Quran states, they made for him whatever he willed of elevated chambers, statues, basins like reservoirs. Saba 34:13. Narrator, how does science explain Borobudur? 2 million blocks without cement, earthquake resistant. Prambanan, 47M tower neatly arranged, lasting thousands of years. Merapi, andesite rocks transported 25 to 30 kilometers without a trace. Kraton, symmetrical teakwood, 300 meters, earthquake resistant. All seem impossible for the 8th, 9th and 18th centuries without modern tools. Narrator engineering experts say Borobudur and Prambanan were impossible to build without immense power. No wheels, cranes or roads from Merapi. Stones cut precisely, arranged without adhesive, earthquake-resistant. Perhaps Jinn used extraordinary physical power, gravity, heat. Merapi's 1,000 degrees Celsius lava couldn't be touched by ancient humans, but Jinn made a fire. Ar-Rahman 55:15 could work there. Kraton's teakwood is incredibly strong. Legends say Jinn helped. No 18th century machines were found. Narrator Fahmi Basya suggests Solomon's Jinn technology teleporting stones to Borobudur and Prambanan, withstanding Merapi's lava, cutting Kraton's wood with unseen tools. Science says Javanese people were intelligent, but if Jinn existed, maybe this was God's technology. Narrator: hypothesis. Jinn used quantum energy or gravity manipulation unseen by modern science. Narrator: why does the Quran... This verse tells of Solomon's Jinn building incredible structures, tall buildings, Prambanan, statues, Borobudur's 504, reservoirs, Kraton's Tamansari. Merapi became a factory because Jinn are fire-resistant. Solomon, with God's knowledge, Al-Anbiya 21:79, might have directed this extraordinary technology. Narrator: Borobudur has stood for millennia. Prambanan hasn't crumbled. Merapi, a source of mystery. Kraton remains strong. All signs of God's power through Jinn. The Quran invites us to marvel at creation. Fahmi sees Nusantara filled with Solomon's wonders of Jinn, from temples to palaces. Perhaps an inspiration for future science. Narrator: critical thinking. Tip: was it truly Jinn technology, or were ancient people more advanced than we know? Investigate: are there unusual cut marks, laser, magnetic, on Borobudur's stones, Prambanan or Kraton's wood? If not Jinn, how were Merapi's stones transported 30 kilometers without a trace? Narrator supporting facts. Borobudur, 2 million blocks without cement, earthquake resistant. Prambanan, 47 m high, precisely arranged. Merapi, stones 25 to 30 kilometers away, no roads. Kraton, 300 m of sturdy teakwood. Sophisticated technology for ancient times. Javanese legends tell of Jinn's assistance. Fahmi links it to Solomon, even though science praises human intelligence. Narrator, closing notes for Chapter 8. Chapter 8 synthesizes Solomon's Jinn technology, transporting Borobudur's stones, 2 million blocks, arranging Prambanan, 47 m high, diving into Merapi, 1,000 degrees Celsius lava, cutting Kraton's wood, 300 m long, all with extraordinary power, according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From Chapter 1, Kingdom's Impact. Chapter 2, Jinn. Chapter 3, Wind. Chapter 4, Mathematics. Chapter 5, Birds. Chapter 6, Unity. And Chapter 7, Queen of Sheba. We explored God's technology. Humorous narration, Mr. Technology versus Mr. Scientist, enlivens faith versus science with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflection, critical thinking tips, and supporting facts. The next chapter might explore Solomon's legacy or Nusantara as the new Sheba. It's up to you. Narrator, imagine this. An archaeologist stands before Borobudur contemplating a stupa. Prophet Solomon left his legacy. This temple became a center of knowledge. Narrator, he spread art. 1,000 panels depict his story. Narrator, this mountain is an eternal factory. Its stone is long-lasting. Narrator, and here the palace becomes culture. Prophet Solomon lives in the soul of Java. Narrator, do you think Prophet Solomon was a teacher to the Javanese? This is Sailendra, Rakai, Pikatan, Haminkubuwono. Narrator, a teacher from God. Prophet Solomon bequeathed knowledge. Borobudur with sacred mathematics. Prambanan with the harmony of monotheism. Merapi as a natural resource. Kraton as a symbol of faith and culture. Narrator, they envision Prophet Solomon leaving Java, Jinn completing tasks, birds taking flight, the wind calming, but the temple, mountain and palace remain, becoming signs for generations to come. Narrator, Fahmi sees this, the legacy of Prophet Solomon. Narrator, there's no proof, only Javanese culture. Narrator, the proof is in the stone, the numbers and the sounds. Prophet Solomon is eternal. Al-Quran, grant me a kingdom such as shall not belong to any after me. Sad 38-35. Narrator, how science sees it. Borobudur, 8th century pilgrimage center, 504 statues. Prambanan, 9th century artistic reliefs with over 1,000 panels. Merapi, source of stone for thousands of years. Kraton, 1755, center of gamelan culture. All remain iconic in central Java. Historians say Borobudur and Prambanan were centers of Buddhist and Hindu learning. But the mathematical precision, 19,504, and earthquake resistance are quite strange for ancient times. Merapi as the source of temple stone, its influence endures to modern times. Kraton preserves the traditions of gamelan, dance and symbolism. Cultural experts say Java inherited an ancient civilization. Fahmi Basya suggests that Prophet Solomon left a legacy. Borobudur as a university of sacred mathematics and monotheism, Prambanan as divine art, Merapi as an eternal factory, Kraton as a culture of faith and harmony. Science says this is Java's evolution. There's no proof of Prophet Solomon, 900 BC, until the 8th century, but the continuity of harmony, numbers and resilience opens up speculation. Maybe his knowledge descended to Java. Narrator hypothesis: Prophet Solomon taught the jinn, birds carried stories, and Javanese culture preserved his code. Narrator: why the Quran? This verse tells of Prophet Solomon asking for a unique kingdom. Borobudur, Prambanan, Merapi and Kraton might be that lasting legacy. Proof of a prayer answered by God, Al-Anbiya 21:79. Borobudur as a center of knowledge, Prambanan as artistic monotheism, Merapi as a natural sign, Kraton as a culture of faith. All have lived for thousands of years, a sign of his wisdom. The Quran invites us to reflect on legacy. Fahmi sees Nusantara holding the traces of Prophet Solomon from temple to palace. Maybe Java became the eternal kingdom after Sabah, Sabah 34:16. Narrator critical thinking tip: is Prophet Solomon's legacy truly preserved in Java, or is Javanese culture simply amazing on its own? Investigate. Are there signs of extraordinary knowledge, mathematics, art at Borobudur, Prambanan, Kraton? If not Prophet Solomon, why has this harmony endured for thousands of years? Narrator supporting facts. Borobudur, pilgrimage center, 504 enduring statues. Prambanan, 1000 plus reliefs, lasting art. Merapi, eternal stone source. Kraton, gamelan, living culture. All are Javanese icons, remarkable without a clear, extraordinary origin. Fahmi connects it to Prophet Solomon. Science acknowledges Javanese dynasties, but this legacy leaves room for speculation. Narrator closing note for scene 9. This scene summarizes the legacy of Prophet Solomon. Borobudur as a center of knowledge, Prambanan as the art of monotheism, Merapi as an eternal source, Kraton as a culture of faith, according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From scene 1, tracing the kingdom, scene 2, jinn, scene 3, wind, scene 4, mathematics, scene 5, birds, scene 6, unity, scene 7, Queen of Sheba, and scene 8, jinn technology. We examine his lasting impact. Humorous storytelling, archaeologist versus scientist, brings to life faith versus science with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflection, critical thinking tips, and supporting facts. The next scene might explore Nusantara as the new Sabah, or a conclusion, it's up to you. Music fades, scene ends. Imagine this: Mr. Geography stands with a map of Java, pointing at Borobudur. Sheba is no more. Prophet Solomon declared, Java is my new garden. Cut to Mr. Art at Prambanan holding the statue of Loro Jongrang. Narrator: Mr. Art enters Prambanan holding the Loro Jongrang statue. The Queen of Sheba becomes a princess here to build a temple for me. Cut to Mr. Geology observing Mount Merapi. Narrator: Mr. Geology looks at Mount Merapi. Fertile land, like Sheba of old, are factories and gardens. Cut to Mr. Arkeology sitting at Kraton listening to gamelan music. Narrator: Mr. Arkeology sits in Kraton, listening to gamelan. This wooden palace is the new throne. Prophet Solomon and Queen of Sheba have moved. Cut to Mr. Science laughing. Narrator: Mr. Science laughs. You think Prophet Solomon had a plane? Sheba is in Yemen. Java is thousands of years and miles away. Cut back to Mr. Geography, smiling. Narrator: Mr. Geography replies, vehicles of God, the wind carried him, jinns carried the temples, birds showed the way. Borobudur brought sacred knowledge, Prambanan the queen's treasures, Merapi the source of fertility, Kraton the new kingdom. Scene transitions to a vision of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba overlooking Java from Merapi. Narrator: they imagine Prophet Solomon and Queen of Sheba overlooking Java from Merapi. He said, the old Sheba is gone, this is the new Sheba. Jinns arranged the stones, the wind stabilized them, birds guarded, the number 19 remained. Java became the new paradise. Cut to Mr. Art speaking. Narrator: Mr. Art says, Fahmi sees it. Nusantara is Prophet Solomon's Sheba. Cut to Mr. Science speaking. Narrator: Mr. Science says, there's no proof. Java is just Java. Cut back to Mr. Geography, smiling. Narrator: Mr. Geography smiles. The proof is in the mountains, the temples and faith. Transition to Quranic verse. Narrator, the Quran. Indeed, for the people of Sheba there was a sign of Allah's power in their dwelling place, 2 gardens vast and fertile on the right and on the left, and it was said to them, "Eat from the provision of your Lord and be grateful to him. Your land is a good land, peaceful and prosperous, and your Lord is a forgiving Lord." 34:15-16, cut to scientific analysis. Narrator Science says Sheba in Yemen was destroyed around 500 BC. Archaeologists say the Marib Dam flood destroyed the civilization, turning fertile land barren. Central Java, however, is fertile. The slopes of Merapi are rich in minerals, like Sheba in the past, supporting rice fields and forests. Borobudur, 8th century, and Prambanan, 9th century, are grand monuments. Kraton, 1755, a cultural centre. Geographers say Java could be a new destination of civilizations migrating. Fahmi Basya suggests that Prophet Solomon and Queen of Sheba moved here after the disaster. Merapi became the garden and factory like Sheba of old. Borobudur, the temple of sacred knowledge. Prambanan, the queen's Lorojongrang treasury. Kraton, the wooden throne palace. Science says there's no proof of migration from Yemen to Java, 7,000 kilometers distance, different eras. But Java's fertility, the harmony of the temples, and the legend of the queen are strange without a grand narrative. Hypothesis: the wind of Prophet Solomon, Sad 38-36, carried him. Jinns moved the civilization. Transition to Quranic reflection. Narrator: the Quran says this verse tells of Sheba's destruction due to disbelief. Prophet Solomon, with the power of Allah, Al-Anbiya 21:79, might have sought a new land. Java becomes the new Sheba, Merapi as fertile as Sheba's gardens, Borobudur and Prambanan as signs of the kingdom, Kraton the throne of Queen of Sheba, and Numl 27:42. The Quran invites us to see the signs of civilization. Fahmi sees Nusantara as Prophet Solomon's destination. From the mountain to the palace, proof of wisdom and faith enduring after the old Sheba vanished. Cut to critical thinking tips. Narrator: think. Is Nusantara truly the new Sheba, or is Java just naturally fertile? Investigate. Are there signs of extraordinary migration, for example, Yemeni carvings at Borobudur, Prambanan? If not Prophet Solomon, why does Java have a harmony like Sheba of old? Cut to supporting facts. Narrator facts: Merapi, slopes fertile like Sheba of old. Borobudur, 123 m, 504 statues. Prambanan, 47 m, Lorojongrang. Kraton, 300 m, Bangsal Kencona. Central Java is magnificent, strange without a magnificent origin story. Fahmi connects it to Sheba. Science calls it coincidence, but the fertility and temples aren't speculation for Prophet Solomon. Closing notes for Scene 10. Narrator: Chapter 10 concludes Nusantara as the new Sheba, Merapi the fertile garden, Borobudur the sacred knowledge, Prambanan the queen's treasury, Kraton the new palace, according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From Chapter 1, the impact of the kingdom. Chapter 2, jinns. Chapter 3, wind. Chapter 4, mathematics. Chapter 5, birds. Chapter 6, fusion. Chapter 7, Queen of Sheba. Chapter 8, jinn technology. And Chapter 9, legacy. We arrive at the conclusion. Java is Prophet Solomon's destination after Sheba's destruction. The humorous narrative, Mr. Geography versus Mr. Science, brings to life faith versus science, with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflection, thinking tips, and facts supporting this idea. If you want to continue, Chapter 11, or change it, you can, but this feels like a perfect ending. The scene shifts to a peaceful setting near the palace. 5 scholars, Mr. Math, Mr. Geometry, Mr. Geology, Mr. Arkeology, and Mr. Art, are sitting, observing the smoke from Mount Merapi, with a view of Borobudur and Prambanan in the distance. Narrator: Mr. Math holds a calculator, 504, 1947. Fahmi sees Solomon in these numbers. Cut to Mr. Geometry pointing at a map. Narrator: Mr. Geometry points at the map. The Merapi temple palace triangle, its harmony. Cut to Mr. Geology speaking. Narrator: Mr. Geology adds, Merapi's stone is eternal, technology of the jinn. Cut to Mr. Art smiling. Narrator: Mr. Art smiles, reliefs Gamelan, Solomon's legacy. Cut to Mr. Scientist entering the scene, looking skeptical. Narrator: Mr. Scientist interrupts, are you all crazy? This is Sailendra, Rakai Pikatan, Hamenkubuwano, not Solomon from 900 BC. Cut back to Mr. Archaeology responding. Narrator: Mr. Archaeology responds, your science is accurate, but Fahmi's faith opens our eyes. Jinn built Borobudur, Wind-stabilized Prambanan, birds guard Merapi, and monotheism remains in the palace. The scene shifts to Fahmi Basya's vision in paradise, looking at Java. Narrator. They imagine Fahmi Basya in paradise, looking at Java, saying, "Thank you, friends, calculate the numbers, read the Quran, think for yourselves." Cut to Mr. Math speaking. Narrator. Mr. Math says, "Solomon may never have set foot in Java, but his story lives here." Cut to Mr. Scientist speaking. Narrator. Mr. Scientist replies, "That's just imagination." Cut to Mr. Art smiling. Narrator. Mr. Art smiles, "It's Allah's imagination." Fahmi invites us to bridge faith and science. The scene shifts to a verse from the Quran. Narrator. The Quran states, "Say the truth is from your Lord, so whoever wills, let him believe, and whoever wills, let him disbelieve." Al-Kahf 18:29. The scene shifts to scientific analysis. Narrator. Science says, Borobudur, 8th century, 2 million blocks, 504 statues. Prambanan, 9th century, 47 meters, 1000 plus reliefs. Merapi, source of stone, fertile. Palace, 1755, 300 meters, Gamelan. Science links these to Sailendra, Rakai Pikatan, and Hamengkubuwono with no evidence of Solomon, 900 BC, in Java. Yet mathematicians marvel at the numbers 19 and 504. Engineers are puzzled by the transport of Merapi stone 30 kilometers, and cultural experts see continuity from temple to palace, confusing for ancient times without clear technology. Narrator. Fahmi Basya combines science and faith, jinn, wind, birds, monotheism, Queen of Sheba, technology, heritage, making Nusantara Solomon's new Sheba. Science disagrees. No archaeology links Yemen to Java. But this wild story makes us think, did Solomon's knowledge descend to Java through culture, or did Fahmi's imagination create a new bridge? Hypothesis. The truth lies in the middle. Java is great, Solomon inspires. The scene shifts to Quranic reflection. Narrator. The Quran says, "This verse speaks of the truth from Allah. Solomon received knowledge, Al-Anbiya 21:79, perhaps spreading it to Nusantara, or Fahmi uses the Quran as glasses to see Java. Borobudur, Prambanan, Merapi, Palace, one story of faith if we choose, or just Javanese culture if we don't believe. The Quran invites us to reflect on the signs. Fahmi chooses faith, connecting numbers, 19, 504, jinn and monotheism to temples, mountains, palaces, inviting us to think for ourselves. Did Solomon really set foot here, or does Java reflect Allah's greatness without him? The scene shifts to critical thinking tips. Narrator. Critical thinking tips. Is Fahmi right about Solomon in Nusantara, or is he exaggerating Javanese culture? Investigate. Are there strange signs, numbers, technology that defy science? If not Solomon, why has Java maintained harmony for thousands of years? Try calculating Borobudur's numbers, read the Quran. What conclusions do you reach? The scene shifts to supporting facts. Narrator. Supporting facts. Borobudur, 504 statues, 19x19. Prambanan, 47 meters, 1000 plus reliefs. Merapi, 30 kilometers of stone, fertile. Palace, 300 meters, Gamelan. Scientific facts show Java's greatness, perplexing without a grand narrative. Fahmi connects it to Solomon. Science says local dynasties, but his imagination opens up space. Faith and science can go together. Closing note for scene 11. Narrator. Scene 11 is a reflective closing, synthesizing all scenes. Jinn, scene 2. Wind, scene 3. Mathematics, scene 4. Birds, scene 5. Monotheism, scene 6. Queen of Sheba, scene 7. Technology, scene 8. Heritage, scene 9. And New Sheba, scene 10. Fahmi Basya becomes the bridge of faith and science, inviting us to see Borobudur, Prambanan, Merapi, Palace as signs of Solomon, or at least divine inspiration. The humorous storytelling, Mr. Math versus Mr. Scientist, concludes the debate with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflection, critical tips, and supporting facts. Narrator. The book ends here. If you want to add scene 12, appendix, or change, let us know. If next means something else, for example, full summary, new book, let us know. What's next? Peace be upon you. The sun sets behind the magnificent Borobudur. Mr. Archaeologist steps forward with a flashlight. He shines it under the stupa and says, "There's a secret room here. Prophet Solomon left a clue." In Prambanan, Mr. Art observes a relief depicting a bird. Could this be the hoopoe bird? Fahmi said there's a secret code here, he says excitedly. Mr. Geologist stands on the rocky slopes of Merapi. These rocks are cut in an unusual way. Maybe this is the work of supernatural beings, he thinks out loud, intrigued by the mysterious work. In the tranquil surroundings of the Kraton, Mr. Geography gazes at Taman Sari. This pool resembles the throne of Prophet Solomon. There's a secret hidden here, he says, his eyes sparkling. Mr. Scientist bursts into laughter. Are you guys seeing ghosts? These are just temples and palaces, he says, shaking his head. Gap 2S, Mr. Archaeologist replies confidently. This is God's mystery. Prophet Solomon left a story here. Borobudur has a secret room. Prambanan has mysterious reliefs. Merapi's rocks whisper tales, and the Kraton pool is like something from another world. They imagine Prophet Solomon smiling down from heaven, his jinn hiding the treasure of knowledge. Numbers like 19 become keys, birds leave messages, and the rocks of Merapi whisper stories. Mr. Art interrupts. Fahmi invites us to search. The mystery of Prophet Solomon is not over yet. Mr. Scientist replies, you guys are chasing shadows. Mr. Archaeologist smiles. The shadows of God. We will continue to dig. The Quran says, and indeed we bestowed upon David and Solomon knowledge, and they both said, praise be to Allah, who has preferred us over so many of his believing servants. An-Naml 27:15. Science reveals that Borobudur has a sealed chamber. Archaeologists believe there may be a cavity beneath the main stupa that is yet to be opened. Prambanan's reliefs, over 1,000 panels, depict strange birds. Art experts have noticed images that may not be typical Hindu depictions. Merapi's rocks are cut incredibly smooth. Geologists are baffled because there's no trace of ancient tools, as if they flew to the temple site 30 kilometers away. The Kraton's Taman Sari has tunnels and pools. Hydrologists are amazed by its sophisticated water system, while legends speak of jinn hiding secrets. Fahmi Basya believes that Prophet Solomon left clues. Borobudur's secret chamber holds knowledge, 19. Prambanan's hoopoe bird relief. Merapi's stones tell of the jinn's work. And the Kraton pool as the throne of the Queen of Sheba. Science has found no evidence. Borobudur's chamber is empty, the reliefs are ordinary, the rocks were cut by humans, and Taman Sari functions as usual. But the mystery remains. Why are there no traces of transportation? Why the precise numbers? Hypothesis. Prophet Solomon hid supernatural codes for future generations. The Quran encourages us to seek knowledge. Fahmi sees Nusantara as full of Prophet Solomon's mysteries, from temples to palaces, perhaps holding a treasure of faith for us to discover, proving Allah's guidance to those who seek. Critical thinking tip. Are Prophet Solomon's mysteries real, or is Fahmi making up stories? Investigate. Is there a strange cavity in Borobudur, a unique bird relief in Prambanan, illogical Merapi rocks, or a hidden Kraton pool? If there are no secrets, why are these structures so mysterious? Try to find out. What clues can you find? Supporting facts. Borobudur, chamber under the stupa, 504 statues. Prambanan, 1000 plus reliefs, strange birds. Merapi, rocks cut 30 kilometers away, no trace. Kraton, Taman Sari tunnels, jinn legends. Mysteries exist, strange without meaning. Fahmi connects it to Prophet Solomon. Science says coincidence, but these puzzles invite us to explore further. Chapter 12 summarizes the hidden mysteries of Prophet Solomon. The Borobudur chamber, Prambanan reliefs, Merapi stones, the Kraton pool as supernatural clues according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From Chapter 1, Tracking the Kingdom, to Chapter 11, Reflection, we add a bonus chapter, More Secrets Await. Humor, Mr. Archaeologist versus Mr. Scientist, brings to life faith versus science with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflection, critical tips and supporting facts. This video can end here, or do you want to continue? Chapter 13, further analysis. If indeed means Chapter 13, a full summary, or something else, let us know. What's next? Let's dive deeper into the mysteries of Nusantara as we explore an amazing theory, the cosmic connection of Prophet Solomon. Cut to Pak Astronomy setting up his telescope at Borobudur. Camera zooms in on the stupa. Pak Astronomy peers through his telescope at Borobudur and says, Prophet Solomon arranged it according to the stars, 10 levels like orbits. Cut to Pak Geometry at Prambanan, measuring the height of the temple. Pak Geometry rushes to Prambanan, measuring the temple. 47 meters, 3 corners, a reflection of the sky, he exclaims. Cut to Pak Geography, observing Mount Merapi. Pak Geography looks at Mount Merapi. The peak is 2,930 meters, a cosmic sign from God, he marvels. Cut to Pak Seni at Kraton, pointing at Tugu Yogya. Pak Seni enters Kraton, points at Tugu Yogya. One pillar reaching for the sky. Prophet Solomon connected earth and heaven, he says. Cut to Pak Saintis laughing cynically. Pak Saintis laughs, how could Prophet Solomon be an astronomer? These are all built by the Javanese people. Back to Pak Astronomy, who answers confidently. Pak Astronomy replies, this is God's creation. Prophet Solomon commanded the wind and the jinn. Borobudur follows the sun's path. Prambanan aligns with 3 stars. Merapi is a cosmic mountain. Kraton is a pillar to the heavens. Cut to an imagined scene of Prophet Solomon standing in the middle of Java, looking at the stars, directing his jinn. They imagine Prophet Solomon in the heart of Java, gazing at the stars, commanding the jinn, align the temples with the heavens. Birds circle at night, the wind shows the way, the number 19 becomes a cosmic code, Java becomes a map of the universe. Cut to Pak Geometry, who is reviewing Fahmi's vision. Pak Geometry says, Fahmi sees it. Prophet Solomon connected heaven and earth. Cut to Pak Saintis, who is still skeptical. Pak Saintis replies, there's no proof. It's all just a coincidence. Back to Pak Astronomy, who smiles. Pak Astronomy smiles. A coincidence from God. The sky tells the story of Prophet Solomon. Cut to a Quranic verse. The Quran says, and he has subjected the sun and the moon for you, and he has subjected the night and the day for you. Ibrahim, 1433. Cut to a scene of scientific analysis. Science supports this with Borobudur, 123x 123 meters, 10 levels, possibly following a cosmic pattern. Astronomers note the east-west orientation aligns with the sunrise, and 504 statues may relate to orbits, 19x19, an equal sign 361, almost a year. Prambanan's 3 towers, 47 meters, resemble constellations. Archaeoastronomers say ancient Hindus aligned them with stars, possibly Orion. Merapi, 2,930 meters, dominates the landscape, serving as a cosmic marker in old cultures. Tugu Yogya, 15 meters, stands as a symbolic axis. Symbol experts see it as a reflection of the world axis. Cut to an imagined depiction of Prophet Solomon's influence. Fahmi Basya suggests Prophet Solomon arranged them according to celestial knowledge. Borobudur as a solar map, 10 levels. Prambanan as 3 stars of faith. Merapi connecting earth and sky. Kraton as the cosmic pillar, Arsi. Science finds no direct proof. The temples follow local cosmic alignments, not Prophet Solomon, 900 BC. But the directions, numbers, and strange symmetry. Maybe his knowledge descended to Java. Cut to critical thinking tips. Critical thinking tip. Did Prophet Solomon arrange them according to the cosmos, or were the ancient Javanese skilled astronomers? Investigate. Are there strange star alignments at Borobudur, Prambanan? If not Prophet Solomon, why do the numbers 19,504 and temple symmetry resemble a sky map? Try stargazing from Merapi. What do you see where you cut to supporting facts? Supporting facts. Borobudur, 10 levels, east-west, 19x19. Prambanan, 3 towers, 47 meters, possibly Orion. Merapi, 2,930 meters, dominant. Kraton, Tugu, 15 meters, cosmic axis. Facts show cosmic alignments. Strange if there's no meaning. Fahmi connects it to Prophet Solomon. Science says Javanese culture, but the sky-earth connection isn't speculation. Cut to closing notes. Chapter 13 synthesizes the cosmic connection of Prophet Solomon. Borobudur as a solar orbit, Prambanan as 3 stars, Merapi as an earth-sky marker, Kraton as a pillar to heaven according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From Chapter 1, Kingdom's Impact, to Chapter 12, Hidden Mysteries, we add the celestial dimension, Prophet Solomon creating a cosmic map in Java. The humorous narrative, Pak Astronomy versus Pak Saintis, brings to life faith versus science with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflection, critical tips and supporting facts. The video can end here. Viewers can look at the stars for Chapter 14 if they wish. From the ancient stones of Borobudur to the peak of the fiery Mount Merapi, from the lush grounds of Prambanan to the grand halls of the Kraton Palace, the islands of Indonesia echo with a symphony believed to be arranged by Prophet Solomon himself. Cut to the physics guy standing atop Borobudur, listening to the whispers of the wind. Physics guy Prophet Solomon commanded, "Wind, play your music for God." Cut to the geology guy at Merapi observing the rumbling lava. Geology guy. He declared, "Mountains, sing of my might." Cut to the art guy entering Prambanan, listening to the chirping birds. Art guy. "These birds are his orchestra, echoing up to 150 feet." Cut to the music guy at the Kraton Palace, striking the gamelan. Music guy. "And hear the sound of wood." Prophet Solomon proclaimed, "Let my palace resound." Cut to the science guy laughing sarcastically. Science guy. "You think Prophet Solomon was some kind of composer? These are just natural sounds." Back to the physics guy, who responds with confidence. Physics guy. "This world belongs to God. Prophet Solomon commanded the wind, the jinn and the birds, the sacred whispers of Borobudur, the choir of Merapi's lava, the chirping birds of Prambanan, and the holy gamelan of the Kraton, all part of his symphony." Imaginary scene of Prophet Solomon standing amidst Java, orchestrating the elements of nature. Narrator. They envision Prophet Solomon in the heart of Java, the wind his flute, the lava his drum, the birds his singers, and the gamelan his piano. He snaps his fingers and nature plays its song for God. Cut to the art guy, who speaks with conviction. Art guy. "Fahmi sees it. Prophet Solomon's voice is still alive." Cut to the science guy, still skeptical. Science guy. "Just sounds of nature." Cut to the music guy, who smiles knowingly. Music guy. "Nature is from God. Listen carefully." Cut to a Quranic verse on screen. Narrator. "The Quran states, there is not a single thing that does not glorify God with praise, but you do not understand their praise." Al-Isra 1744. Cut to a scene of scientific analysis. Narrator. Science explains, the open structure of Borobudur. Acoustics experts say the wind passing through its 504 stupas creates a low humming sound like a sacred echo. The rumble of Merapi's lava, geologists say minor eruptions like in 1006, sounded like a deep drum, audible up to 20 miles away. The bird carvings of Prambanan over 1,000 panels. Bird experts say the forest habitat attracts hornbills and swallows, their calls echoing off the 150-foot towers. The Kraton gamelan. Ethnomusicologists say the resonance of the gongs and sarans with the wind creates a unique harmony. Narrator Fahmi Basya suggests Prophet Solomon conducted these sounds of nature. Borobudur's wind as a prayer, Merapi's lava as a sign of power, Prambanan's birds as singers, the Kraton's gamelan as a palace symphony. Science calls these natural phenomena, wind, lava, birds, gamelan without a conductor. But this strange combination of sounds suggests Prophet Solomon might have tuned the Javanese landscape into a divine orchestra. Narrator hypothesis. His command over the wind, Sad 38:36, and living creatures resulted in a hidden symphony. Cut to another Quranic verse on screen. Narrator. The Quran speaks of nature glorifying God. Prophet Solomon, with his divine knowledge, An-Naml 27:15, and control over wind and birds, might have turned the Indonesian archipelago into a symphony of praise. The whispers of Borobudur's wind, the roar of Merapi's lava, the chirping of Prambanan's birds, the playing of the Kraton's gamelan, all singing for God, a testament to his wisdom. The Quran invites us to listen to nature. Fahmi sees Java filled with Prophet Solomon's voice from temple to palace. Perhaps he composed divine music in the Indonesian archipelago for us to contemplate. Cut to a critical thinking tip. Narrator critical thinking tip. Are these sounds of nature the work of Prophet Solomon, or just ordinary sounds in Java? Investigate, are there strange resonances in Borobudur's stupas, Merapi's lava, Prambanan's birds, the Kraton's gamelan? If they're just natural, why do they combine into such a seemingly arranged melody? Go listen for yourself. What do you feel? Cut to supporting facts. Narrator supporting facts. Borobudur, wind whispers through 504 stupas. Merapi, lava sounds audible 20 miles away. Prambanan, bird calls echo at 150 feet. Kraton, gamelan resonates with wind. Sounds present at each location, strange if there's no meaning. Fahmi connects it to Prophet Solomon. Science says it's natural, but this symphony leaves room for speculation. Cut to closing notes for scene 14. Narrator scene 14 synthesizes the sounds of nature with Prophet Solomon. Borobudur's wind, Merapi's lava, Prambanan's birds, the Kraton's gamelan as a divine symphony according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From scene 1, the impact of the kingdom, to scene 13, cosmic harmony, we add the dimension of sound. The Javanese landscape sings for Prophet Solomon. The humorous narrative, physics guy versus science guy, brings to life the clash between faith and science with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflection, critical thinking tips, and supporting facts. This could be the end of the video, or continue to scene 15 if you like. The sun rises over Borobudur, shadows stretch, light dances on the ancient stones. Mr. Optics stands at the peak, gazing at the first light of dawn. Mr. Optics, Solomon commanded, "Light, illuminate my house." Narrator. Cut to Mr. Geology, running towards Merapi, observing the glowing lava. Mr. Geology. He said, "Fire be the torch of my workshop." Narrator. Cut to Mr. Art, entering Prambanan, observing the shadows cast by the towering spires. Mr. Art, light plays at a height of 47 meters. Solomon said, "Adorn my grand hall." Narrator. Cut to Mr. Arkeology, sitting in the Kraton, observing the golden gleam of the golden pavilion. Mr. Arkeology, "This golden wood," he declared, "let my palace shine." Narrator. Cut to Mr. Scientist, laughing cynically. "Mr. Scientist, you think Solomon was some ancient lamp maker? That's just sunlight and lava." Narrator. Back to Mr. Optics, who responds confidently. Mr. Optics, "This is the light of Allah. Solomon commanded nature. Borobudur glows at dawn, Merapi shines at night, Prambanan's shadows harmonize, and the gold of Kraton gleams beautifully, all part of his radiance." Narrator. Imagine Solomon standing in the heart of Java, the sun acting as his spotlight, lava as his torch, temple shadows as his art, and the gold of Kraton as his crown. Narrator. They envision Solomon in the midst of Java, the sun as a spotlight, lava as a torch, shadows as art, and the gold of Kraton as a crown. He smiles. "My light is from Allah." Narrator. Cut to Mr. Art, who speaks confidently. Mr. Art. Fahmi sees it. Solomon's light still lives. Narrator. Cut to Mr. Scientist, still skeptical. Mr. Scientist. Just natural optics. Narrator. Cut to Mr. Optics, who smiles knowingly. Mr. Optics. Allah's optics, look closely. Narrator. Cut to a Quranic verse on the screen. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. Yes. An-Nur 24:35. Narrator. Cut to scientific analysis. Scientists explain Borobudur's east-west alignment. Optics experts say the sunrise illuminates its 10 levels, reflecting off 504 stupas, creating a sacred light. Merapi's glowing lava, volcanologists say the 1000 degrees Celsius heat creates a nighttime glow visible up to 30 kilometers away like a natural lamp. Prambanan's 47-meter high peaks, art experts say the setting sun creates harmonious silhouettes from 3 angles. Kraton's golden pavilion, cultural experts say the golden teakwood reflects light, creating a glow during ceremonies. Narrator Fahmi Basya suggests Solomon arranged the light. Borobudur for enlightenment. 19x19. Merapi as a genie lamp. Prambanan's shadows for unity. Kraton's gold as the palace's divine radiance. Science calls these optical phenomena. Sunlight, lava, reflection without a designer. Yet, this alignment of light is strange. Perhaps Solomon adjusted Java into a gallery of divine light. Narrator hypothesis. His command over the wind, Sad 38:36, and Jinn directed light as a sign. Narrator. Cut to another Quranic verse on the screen. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. An-Nur 24:35. Narrator. The Quran mentions Allah as the source of light. Solomon, with his knowledge, An-Naml 27:15, and divine power, might have made Nusantara shine for Allah. Borobudur's morning light, Merapi's night glow, Prambanan's harmonious shadows, Kraton's golden gleam, all signs of his enlightenment. The Quran invites us to see the light. Fahmi sees Java filled with Solomon's light, from temples to palaces, evidence that he brought the light of faith to Nusantara, perhaps a reflection of Allah's paradise. Narrator critical thinking tip. Is it Solomon's light or just Java's natural beauty? Investigate. Are the strange reflections on Borobudur's stupas, Merapi's glow, Prambanan's shadows, Kraton's gold just coincidences? If it's just natural, why is this light arranged so artistically? Go see the sunrise. What do you feel? Narrator supporting facts. Borobudur, morning light on 504 stupas. Merapi, lava glow visible for 30 kilometers. Prambanan, harmonious shadows at 47 m. Kraton, golden gleam of the golden pavilion. Light is everywhere. Strange if there's no meaning. Fahmi links it to Solomon. Science says it's natural optics, but this light opens up room for speculation. Narrator closing note for scene 15. Scene 15 synthesizes Solomon's light, Borobudur's morning glow, Merapi's lava gleam, Prambanan's harmonious shadows, Kraton's golden wood as divine enlightenment, according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From scene 1, tracing the kingdom, to scene 14, nature's symphony, we add the dimension of light. Java shines for Solomon. The humorous storytelling, Mr. Optics versus Mr. Scientist, brings to life the clash between faith and science with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflections, critical thinking tips, and supporting facts. This could be the end of the video or continue to scene 16 if you like. Narrator, transition to the hydrologist standing at Borobudur, observing the ancient stone channels. Hydrologist, Prophet Solomon commanded, "Water, nourish my home." Narrator, cut to the geologist running to Mount Merapi, holding spring water. Geologist, the king said, "Mountain, give life to Java." Narrator, cut to the technology expert entering Prambanan, inspecting the ancient channels. Technology expert, "Water helps the jinn, 47 meters and never dry." Narrator, cut to the archaeologist sitting at the Kraton observing Tamansari. Archaeologist, "This pool, Prophet Solomon declared, may my palace prosper with water." Narrator, cut to the scientist laughing cynically. Scientist, "Do people think Prophet Solomon was a plumber? These are just ordinary rivers and ponds." Narrator, back to the hydrologist, responding confidently. Hydrologist, "These are God's pipes. Prophet Solomon commanded the jinn and nature, the sacred channels of Borobudur, the fertile springs of Merapi, the enduring waters of Prambanan, the magnificent Tamansari of the Kraton, all his water." Narrator, imagine Prophet Solomon standing in the middle of Java, jinn digging channels, wind carrying rain clouds, birds pointing to water sources, water flowing, giving life to temples, mountains, and palaces. Technology expert, Fahmi sees it. Prophet Solomon's water gives life. Narrator, cut to the scientist, still doubtful. Scientist, "It's just natural hydrology." Narrator, back to the hydrologist, smiling meaningfully. Hydrologist, "God's hydrology. See the story of Prophet Solomon in the water." Or narrator, cut to the Quranic verse on the screen. "And from water we made every living thing." Al-Anbiya 21:30. Narrator, transition to scientific analysis. Scientific explanation, Borobudur has ancient channels. Hydrology experts say the underground drainage system at 123 by 123 m prevents flooding, lasts 1,000 years. Merapi is a source of springs. Geologists say the mountain slopes create rivers, example Kali Code, nourishing central Java. Prambanan has stone channels. Archaeologists say the ancient irrigation system supports the 47-meter towers. Tamansari Kraton, engineering experts say the pools and tunnels, 18th century, are sophisticated. Legends say jinn helped. Fahmi Basya suggests Prophet Solomon managed the water. Borobudur's sacred channels, 19x19. Merapi's life-giving springs. Prambanan's jinn-aided water, Queen of Sheba's throne pool at the Kraton. Science says this is Javanese technology. Sailendra, Rakai Pikatan, Hamengkubuwono created water systems, no Prophet Solomon, 900 BC, but the greatness of channels without strange machines. Maybe Prophet Solomon inspired Java's water. Narrator, hypothesis, jinn dug channels, wind brought rain, water became the lifeblood of the archipelago. Narrator, transition to Quranic reflection. Quranic teaching. This verse mentions water as the source of life. Prophet Solomon, with the power of God, and Naml 27:15, and jinn may have made the archipelago irrigated for faith. Borobudur's sacred channels, Merapi's fertile springs, Prambanan's enduring water, the Kraton's magnificent pool, all signs of life from God. The Quran invites us to think about water. Fahmi sees Java full of Prophet Solomon's water, from temples to palaces, evidence that he brought blessings to the archipelago, perhaps extending the fertile Saba to Java. Narrator, critical thinking tip, Prophet Solomon's water or Javanese water management. Investigate, are there strange channels in Borobudur, Prambanan or Tamansari? If ordinary, why were these systems so advanced for their time? Go see Merapi's water, what do you feel? Narrator, supporting facts, Borobudur, 123 m drainage. Merapi, fertile springs Kali Code. Prambanan, 47 m ancient irrigation. Kraton, Tamansari pools tunnels. Water is everywhere. Strange if there's no meaning. Fahmi connects it to Prophet Solomon. Science says Javanese technology, but this water opens up room for speculation. Narrator, closing note for Act 16. Act 16 combines Prophet Solomon's water, Borobudur channels, Merapi springs, Prambanan irrigation, Kraton pool as divine life, according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From Act 1, Kingdom's impact, to Act 15, Enlightenment, we add the dimension of water. Java lives with Prophet Solomon. The humorous storytelling, hydrologist versus scientist, brings to life the clash between faith and science. with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflection, critical thinking tips, and supporting facts. This can end the video or continue to Act 17 if you want. Narrator, transition to Pak Kimia standing in front of Borobudur smelling the incense smoke. Pak Kimia, Solomon commanded sacred scent rise to my house. Narrator, cut to Pak Geology running towards Merapi smelling the volcanic ash. Pak Geology, he said, mountain bring the scent of my power. Narrator, cut to Pak Biology entering Prambanan smelling the frangipani flowers. Pak Biologi, these flowers, Solomon said, perfume my palace. Narrator, cut to Pak Arkeo sitting in Kraton smelling the teakwood. Pak Arkeo, this scent, he declared, may my palace always be fragrant. Narrator, cut to Pak Saintis laughing cynically. Pak Saintis, you guys think Solomon was making perfume. These are all just natural smells. Narrator, back to Pak Kimia, answering confidently. Pak Kimia, this is Allah's chemistry. Solomon commanded the jinn and the wind, sacred incense at Borobudur, magical ash at Merapi, fragrant flowers at Prambanan, majestic teak at Kraton, all his scents. Narrator, imagine Solomon standing in the middle of Java, jinn burning incense, wind carrying Merapi's ash, birds scattering flowers, palace wood releasing fragrance. Solomon smiles. My fragrance is from Allah. Pak Biology, I see it now. Solomon's scent is still here. Narrator, cut to Pak Saintis, still skeptical. Pak Saintis, it's just natural chemistry. Narrator, back to Pak Kimia, smiling meaningfully. Pak Kimia, Allah's chemistry. Take a deep breath. Narrator, transition to the Quranic verse on screen. And we subjected the wind to Solomon, its morning journey being a month's journey and its evening journey being a month's journey. Sad 38, 36. Narrator, transition to scientific analysis. Scientific explanation. Borobudur is filled with incense. Chemists say Damar smoke has a fragrant smell during pilgrimages, rising to the 504 stupas. Merapi's volcanic ash, geologists say small eruptions, for example in 1006, carried a peculiar sulfur smell spreading 30 kilometers. Prambanan is surrounded by frangipani. Botanists say the fragrant flowers attract birds, perfuming the 47-meter towers. Kraton's teakwood. Chemists say teak's natural oil has a long-lasting scent emanating from the Bangsal Kenkono. Fahmi Basya suggests Solomon created the scents. Borobudur's incense signifies faith. 19x19. Merapi's ash smells of gin. Prambanan's flowers are Queen of Sheba's fragrance. Kraton's teak is the palace's eternal aroma. Science says these are natural aromas, cultural incense, geological ash, ecological flowers, chemical wood. But this unique combination of scents, perhaps Solomon arranged Java's fragrance as divine signs. Hypothesis, his wind carried the scents, gin amplified the fragrance, creating the perfume of Nusantara. Narrator, transition to Quranic reflection. Quranic reflection. This verse tells of Solomon's power over the wind, perhaps to carry scents for Allah. Borobudur's sacred incense, Merapi's powerful ash, Prambanan's fragrant flowers, Kraton's majestic teak, all fragrances from his knowledge, and Namal 27:15. The Quran invites us to ponder the signs. Fahmi sees Java filled with Solomon's scent, from temples to palaces, evidence he brought the fragrance of faith to Nusantara, perhaps extending Saba's aroma to Java. Narrator, critical thinking tip. Critical thinking tip, Solomon's scent, or just Java's natural fragrance. Investigate. Are there unusual scents in Borobudur's incense, Merapi's ash, Prambanan's flowers, Kraton's teak? If they're ordinary, why are these scents arranged like a story? Go smell for yourselves. What do you experience? Narrator, supporting facts. Supporting facts, Borobudur, incense scent of 504 stupas. Merapi, sulfur ash, 30 kilometers. Prambanan, fragrant frangipani, 47 m. Kraton, fragrant teak of Bangsal Kenkono. Scents are everywhere, strange if there's no meaning. Fahmi connects it to Solomon. Science says it's natural, but these scents open up room for speculation. Narrator, closing note for Scene 17. Scene 17 combines Solomon's fragrances, Borobudur's incense, Merapi's ash, Prambanan's flowers, Kraton's teak as a divine aroma according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From Scene 1, Kingdom's impact, to Scene 16, Water, we add the dimension of scent. Java is fragrant with Solomon. The humorous storytelling, Pak Kimia versus Pak Saintis, brings to life the clash between faith and science with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflection, critical thinking tips, and supporting facts. The video can end here or continue to Scene 18 if you like. Journeying deeper into Nusantara's story, we find ourselves at the crossroads of faith and science. where the physical world holds traces of ancient legends. Cut to Pak technology standing in front of Borobudur holding a smooth stone. Pak technology. Prophet Solomon commanded, "Jinn, polish the stones for my temple." Cut to Pak geology running to Mount Merapi, touching the fine volcanic ash. Pak geology. He said, "Mountain, give me building materials." Cut to Pak Sini entering Prambanan, feeling the delicate carvings. Pak Sini. These carvings, Prophet Solomon ordered, "Carve my story." Cut to Pak Arkeo sitting in the Kraton palace holding teak wood. Pak Arkeo. These pillars, he declared, "My palace must be strong." Cut to Pak scientist laughing sarcastically. Pak scientist. "You think Prophet Solomon was a builder? These are just stones and wood." Back to Pak technology answering confidently. Pak technology. "God's builder, Prophet Solomon commanded the jinn, smooth stones at Borobudur, fine ash at Merapi, delicate carvings at Prambanan, strong teak wood at the Kraton, all his touch." Imagine Prophet Solomon standing in the heart of Java, jinn polishing stones, wind smoothing ash, birds inspiring carvings, and teak pillars standing firm. Prophet Solomon smiles, "My touch from God." Pakseni Fahmi sees it, Prophet Solomon's touch remains. Cut to Pak scientists, still doubtful. Pak scientists, "Just natural materials?" Back to Pak technology, smiling meaningfully. Pak technology, "God's artistry, experience it." Cut to Quranic verse on screen. Narrator, "They made for him whatever he willed, lofty palaces, statues." Sabah 34:13. Cut to scientific analysis. Narrator, "Borobudur's andesite stones, geologists say 2 million blocks were polished smooth, stacked without cement, lasting 1,000 years." Cut to Mount Merapi's volcanic ash. Experts say its fine texture, 0.1 mm, from small eruptions is suitable for temple material. Cut to Prambanan's delicate carvings. Art historians say 1000 plus reliefs, 47 M towers, were carved precisely like ancient machines. Cut to Kraton's teak wood. Botanists say its strong, durable texture, arranged symmetrically for 300 M. Narrator Fahmi Basya connects this to Prophet Solomon's touch. Smooth stones at Borobudur symbolize jinn, 19x19. Merapi's ash as sacred dust. Prambanan's carvings tell the story of Queen of Sheba. Kraton's teak wood is the palace's strength. Cut to science attributing this to Javanese skill. Sailendra Rakai Pikatan Hamengkubuwono, who polished and arranged, not Prophet Solomon, 900 BC. However, the precision of the texture is strange. Maybe Prophet Solomon inspired the Javanese touch. Cut to the hypothesis. Jinn polishing stones, wind aiding texture, creating physical traces in Nusantara. Cut to Quranic reflection. Narrator. The Quran tells of Prophet Solomon's jinn building magnificent structures. Perhaps his touch remains in Nusantara. Cut to the smooth stones at Borobudur, fine ash at Merapi, precise carvings at Prambanan, strong teak wood at the Kraton, all signs of God's power, An-Naml 27:15. Cut to the Quran inviting us to reflect on these materials. Fahmi sees Java filled with Prophet Solomon's touch, from temples to palaces, proof he brought divine power to Nusantara, perhaps connecting Sheba to Java. Cut to critical thinking tips. Narrator, critical thinking tip. Was it Prophet Solomon's touch or the skill of the Javanese people? Cut to the question. Are there signs of unusual cuts on Borobudur's stones, Prambanan's carvings, Kraton's teak wood? If ordinary, why have these textures lasted for thousands of years? Cut to experiencing it yourself. What do you feel? Cut to supporting facts. Narrator, supporting facts. Borobudur, 2 million smooth stones, 504 statues. Merapi, fine ash, 30 kilometers. Prambanan, 1000 plus precise reliefs, 47 M. Kraton, strong teak wood, 300 M. Texture is present at every location. Strange if there's no meaning. Cut to Fahmi, connecting it to Prophet Solomon. Science says it's the work of the Javanese, but this touch opens up room for speculation. Cut to closing note for Chapter 18. Narrator. Chapter 18 summarizes Prophet Solomon's touch. Smooth stones at Borobudur, fine ash at Merapi, delicate carvings at Prambanan, strong teak wood at the Kraton as divine physical traces, according to Fahmi Basya's theory. Cut to from Chapter 1, Kingdom's Impact, to Chapter 17, Aroma. We add the dimension of touch. Java remains with Prophet Solomon. Cut to humorous storytelling, Pak technology versus Pak scientists, bringing to life the debate of faith versus science with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflection, critical thinking tips, and supporting facts. Cut to the video can end here or continue to Chapter 19 if you wish. Journeying deeper into the mysteries of Nusantara, we're surrounded by vibrant colors, each hue whispering tales of an ancient king. Could these colors be remnants of Prophet Solomon's artistry? Cut to Pakseni at Borobudur, gazing at grey stone. Pakseni, Prophet Solomon commanded, "Color my temple with sacred grey." Cut to Geology running towards Merapi, observing the red lava. Geology, he declared red become fire. Cut to Biology entering Prambanan, admiring the white frangipani flowers. Biology, these flowers, Prophet Solomon proclaimed, white, perfume my palace. Cut to Arkeo at Kraton, observing the golden teak wood. Arkeo, this wood, the king exclaimed, gold adorn my palace. Cut to Saintis laughing. Saintis, you think Prophet Solomon was a painter? These are all natural colors. Back to Sinai, confident. Seni, nature is God's creation. Prophet Solomon commanded the jinn and the wind, Borobudur's sacred grey, Merapi's fiery red, Prambanan's harmonious white, Kraton's majestic gold, all his palette. Imagine Prophet Solomon amidst Java, jinn colouring stones, wind carrying red dust, birds scattering white flowers, and Kraton's golden wood shining, he smiles. My colours are from God. Biology, Fahmi, look, Prophet Solomon's colours are still alive. Cut to Saintis, still doubtful. Saintis, just natural colours. Back to Seni, smiling meaningfully. Seni, nature is from God, look closely. Cut to Quran verse on screen. Narrator, do you not see that Allah sends down rain from the sky and we produce thereby fruits of varying colours? Fatiha 35:27. Cut to scientific analysis. Narrator, Borobudur's andesite stone, geologists say dark grey, high silica, is the dominant colour, weather-resistant for 1,000 years. Merapi's red lava, volcanologists say iron oxide at high temperature, 1,000 degrees Celsius, produces bright red, visible for 30 kilometers at night. Prambanan's white frangipani, botanists say the fragrance of plumeria flowers contrasts with the grey stone of the 47-meter tower. Kraton's golden teak, chemists say, the oil in old teak wood turns golden yellow, shining in the Bangsal Kenkono. Narrator Fahmi Basya suggests that Prophet Solomon painted these colors. Borobudur's grey symbolizes faith, 19x19. Merapi's red represents the jinn's power. Prambanan's white signifies Queen of Sheba's purity. Kraton's gold embodies the palace's grandeur. Science says these are natural colors: stone, lava, flowers, wood without a painter. But their combination is peculiar. Perhaps Prophet Solomon arranged Java's palette into a grand art. Cut to hypothesis. Narrator, hypothesis. Jinn selected stones, wind carried dust, creating Nusantara's painting. Cut to Quran reflection. Narrator, the Quran mentions that God created colors. Prophet Solomon, with his knowledge, and Naml 27:15, and power, might have made Nusantara colorful for God. Borobudur's sacred grey, Merapi's mighty red, Prambanan's harmonious white, Kraton's majestic gold, signs of his beauty. Cut to critical thinking tip. Narrator, critical thinking tip. Are these Prophet Solomon's colors, or is Java naturally beautiful? Investigate. Are there unusual colors in Borobudur's stone, Merapi's lava, Prambanan's flowers, Kraton's teak? If they're ordinary, why is this palette arranged like a painting? Visit and experience. What do you feel? Cut to supporting facts. Narrator, supporting facts. Borobudur, grey andesite, 504 stupas. Merapi, red lava, 30 kilometers. Prambanan, white frangipani, 47 m. Kraton, golden teak, Bangsal Kenkono. Colors are present at each location, unusual if meaningless. Fahmi connects it to Prophet Solomon. Science says it's natural, but this palette is not speculation. Cut to chapter 19, closing. Narrator, chapter 19 combines Prophet Solomon's colors. Borobudur's grey, Merapi's red, Prambanan's white, Kraton's gold into a grand palette, according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From chapter 1, traces of the kingdom, to chapter 18, physical evidence, we add the dimension of color, Java illuminated by Prophet Solomon. Humorous storytelling, Pakseni versus Saintis, brings to life the debate of faith versus science, with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflections, critical thinking tips, and supporting facts. Narrator, the video can end here or continue to chapter 20 if you wish. Imagine the heart of Nusantara beating with the echoes of Prophet Solomon's time. Cut to Pak Physic standing in front of Borobudur, feeling a subtle tremor. Pak Physic, Prophet Solomon said, "Earth tremble for my temple." Cut to Pak Geology running towards Mount Merapi, hearing its rumble. Pak Geology, he declared, "Mountain, pulse with my power." Cut to Pak acoustic at Prambanan, feeling the wind echo. Pak acoustic. This tower, Prophet Solomon commanded 47 meters of harmonic vibrations. Cut to Pak per music at Kraton, striking the gamelan. Pak per music. This sound, he declared, may my palace resonate. Cut to Pak Saintis, laughing, skeptical. Pak Saintis, you think Prophet Solomon was a vibration engineer? This is just an earthquake and sound. Cut back to Pak Physic, confident. Pak Physic. This is the vibration of Allah. Prophet Solomon commanded the jinn and the wind. Borobudur withstands earthquakes. Merapi pulsates with lava. Prambanan echoes with wind, and Kraton resonates with gamelan. All his vibrations. Visualize Prophet Solomon standing in the middle of Java, jinn arranging earthquake-resistant stones, wind carrying echoes, birds following rhythms, and the Kraton gamelan bringing the atmosphere to life. Prophet Solomon smiles. My vibrations are from Allah. Pak acoustic. Fahmi sees this. Prophet Solomon's vibrations are still alive. Pak Saintis, just normal physics. Pak Physic, the physics of Allah. Experience it deeply. Cut to Quranic verse on screen. Narrator, and to Solomon we subjected the wind blowing forcefully, and we subjected to him devils diving for him in the sea and performing other tasks. Al-Anbiya 21, 81, 82. Cut to scientific analysis. Narrator, science explains. Borobudur's earthquake resistance, seismologists say the pyramid structure 123 by 123 m absorbs tremors, 504 stupas standing for thousands of years. Merapi's rumble, geologists say, small eruptions, for example in 1006, produce low-frequency pulses felt 30 kilometers away. Prambanan's 47-meter-high towers, acousticians say the wind passing through the three corners creates harmonic echoes, stable despite the height. Kraton gamelan, physicists say the resonance of gongs and sarons, 50 to 100 hertz, vibrates teak wood over 300 meters. Fahmi Basya suggests Prophet Solomon orchestrated these vibrations. Borobudur's earthquake resistance symbolizes the jinn, 19x19. Merapi's pulse of power, Prambanan's wind echoes, and Kraton's palace resonance. Science recognizes Javanese engineering. Sailendra Rakai Pikatan Hamengkubuwano understood vibrations, not Prophet Solomon, 900 BC. However, the resilience and echoes are strange. Maybe Prophet Solomon inspired Java's pulse. Hypothesis. Jinn arranged earthquake-resistant structures. Wind carried echoes, creating Nusantara's pulse. Cut back to the Quranic verse. Narrator, this verse tells of Prophet Solomon commanding the wind and the jinn. Perhaps vibrations are a sign of his power from Allah. Borobudur's earthquake resistance, Merapi's lava pulse, Prambanan's harmonic echoes, Kraton's gamelan resonance, all vibrate for Allah and Namal 27:15. The Quran invites us to contemplate nature. Fahmi sees Java filled with Prophet Solomon's vibrations, from temples to palaces, evidence that he brought divine pulsations to Nusantara, perhaps connecting Sabah to Java. Cut to critical thinking tip. Narrator, critical thinking tip. Are these Prophet Solomon's vibrations or clever Javanese earthquake-resistant engineering? Honestly, are there unusual echoes in Borobudur's stupas, Merapi's rumbles, Prambanan's wind, Kraton's gamelan? If it's normal, why are these vibrations arranged like a rhythm? Visit and feel. What do you hear? Cut to supporting facts. Narrator, supporting facts. Borobudur, 123 m earthquake-resistant. Merapi, 30 kilometers rumble. Prambanan, 47 m wind echo. Kraton, 300 m gamelan resonance. Vibrations are present at each location, unusual if meaningless. Fahmi connects it to Prophet Solomon. Science recognizes Javanese physics, but these pulsations open up speculation. Cut to closing notes for scene 20. Narrator, scene 20 synthesizes Prophet Solomon's vibrations, Borobudur's earthquake resistance, Merapi's rumble, Prambanan's echoes, Kraton's resonance become a divine pulse, according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From scene 1, tracing the kingdom, to scene 19, colors, we add the dimension of vibration. Java resonates with Prophet Solomon. Humorous storytelling, Pak Physic versus Pak Saintis, brings to life the debate of faith versus science with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflection, critical tips, and supporting facts. This book reaches 20 scenes. It can end as a complete symphony of Prophet Solomon, or continue to scene 21 if you wish. Scene transitions to the serene setting of the Kraton. 5 scholars, Mr. Math, Mr. Geometry, Mr. Geology, Mr. Arkeology, and Mr. Art sit observing the smoke rising from Mount Merapi and the distant views of Borobudur and Prambanan. Narrator Mr. Math holds a calculator 504, 19, 47. Fahmi sees Solomon in these numbers. Cut to Mr. Geometry pointing at a map. Narrator Mr. Geometry points at the map. The Merapi Temple Kraton triangle, such harmony. Cut to Mr. Geology speaking. Narrator Mr. Geology adds, Merapi's stones, eternally strong, technology of the jinn. Cut to Mr. Art smiling. Narrator Mr. Art smiles. Reliefs, gamelan, Solomon's legacy. Cut to Mr. Scientist entering the scene, looking skeptical. Narrator Mr. Scientist interrupts. Are you all crazy? This is Sailendra, Rakai Pikatan, Hameng Kubuwano, not Solomon from 900 BC. Cut back to Mr. Archaeology answering. Narrator Mr. Archaeology replies, Your science is accurate, but Fahmi's faith is eye-opening. Jinn arranged Borobudur, wind stabilized Prambanan, birds guarded Merapi, and monotheism endures in their Kraton. Scene transitions to Fahmi Basya's imaginary vision in heaven looking down at Java. Narrator, they envision Fahmi Basya in heaven gazing at Java, saying, Thank you friends, calculate the numbers, read the Quran, think for yourselves. Cut to Mr. Math speaking. Narrator Mr. Math says, Solomon might not have stepped foot in Java, but his story lives here. Cut to Mr. Scientist speaking. Narrator Mr. Scientist replies, That's just fantasy. Cut to Mr. Art smiling. Narrator Mr. Art smiles. It's God's fantasy. Fahmi invites us to connect faith and science. Transition to Quranic verse. Narrator, the Quran states, the truth is from your Lord, so whoever wills, let him believe, and whoever wills, let him disbelieve. Al-Kahf 18:29. Transition to scientific analysis. Narrator, science says Borobudur, 8th century, 2 million blocks, 504 statues. Prambanan, 9th century, 47 meters tall, 1000 plus reliefs. Merapi, source of stone fertile. Kraton, 1755, 300 meters gamelan. Science links these to Sailendra, Rakai Pikatan, and Hamengkubuwono, with no evidence of Solomon, 900 BC in Java. However, mathematicians are amazed by the numbers 19 and 504, engineers puzzled by the 30 kilometers transport of Merapi stone, and cultural experts see harmony from temple to palace, strange for ancient times without clear technology. Narrator Fahmi Basya merges science and faith, jinn, wind, birds, monotheism, Queen of Sheba, technology, heritage, making Nusantara Solomon's new Saba. Science disagrees. No archaeology links Yemen to Java, but this wild tale makes us think, did Solomon's knowledge descend to Java through culture, or did Fahmi's imagination create a new bridge? Hypothesis, the truth lies in the middle. Java is great. Solomon inspires a transition to Quranic reflection. Narrator, the Quran says, this verse speaks of truth from God. Solomon received knowledge, Al-Anbiya 21:79. Perhaps spreading it to Nusantara, or Fahmi uses the Quran as a lens to view Java. Borobudur, Prambanan, Merapi, Kraton, a story of faith if we choose, or simply Javanese culture if we don't believe. The Quran invites us to ponder the signs. Fahmi chooses faith, connecting numbers, 19,504, jinn and monotheism to temples, mountains, palaces, inviting us to think for ourselves. Was Solomon really here, or does Java reflect God's greatness without him? Transition to critical thinking prompt. Narrator, critical thinking prompt. Is Fahmi right about Solomon in Nusantara, or is he exaggerating Javanese culture? Honestly, are there strange signs, numbers, technology that challenge science? If not Solomon, why has Java maintained harmony for thousands of years? Try counting the numbers of Borobudur. Read the Quran. What's your conclusion? Transition to supporting facts. Narrator, supporting facts. Borobudur, 504 statues, 19x19. Prambanan, 47 meters tall, 1000 plus reliefs. Merapi, 30 kilometers of stone fertile. Kraton, 300 meters gamelan. Scientific facts show Java's greatness, strange without a grand narrative. Fahmi connects it to Solomon. Science says local dynasties, but his imagination opens up space. Faith and science can work together. Closing notes for Chapter 11. Narrator, Chapter 11 is a reflective conclusion, a synthesis of all chapters. Jinn, Chapter 2, Wind, Chapter 3, Mathematics, Chapter 4, Birds, Chapter 5, Monotheism, Chapter 6, Queen of Sheba, Chapter 7, Technology, Chapter 8, Heritage, Chapter 9, and the New Sabha, Chapter 10, Fahmi Basya becomes a bridge between faith and science, inviting us to see Borobudur, Prambanan, Merapi, Kraton as signs of Solomon, or at least divine inspiration. The humorous storytelling, Mr. Math versus Mr. Scientist, concludes the debate with Quranic references, scientific analysis, reflection, critical prompts, and supporting facts. Narrate. The book ends here. If you'd like to add Chapter 12 appendix or change anything, let us know. If continue means something else, for example, full summary, new book, please inform us. What's next? King Solomon is a really important figure in Islam. He was known for being very wise, very rich, and able to control nature. The Quran even says that he could talk to animals and control magical beings called jinn. These jinn helped him build amazing structures and achieve incredible things. There are many stories about his flying carpet, his magic ring that gave him power over evil, and his ability to control the wind. These stories have captured imaginations for centuries, inspiring tons of art and literature. The book Borobudur and the Legacy of Prophet Solomon uses these stories and tries to uncover a possible link between Solomon's reign and the building of Borobudur. The book suggests that the grandeur and complex design of the temple reflect the kind of architecture and advanced knowledge that was common during Solomon's time. It proposes that skilled craftsmen and architects from Solomon's kingdom might have traveled to Java. There they shared their expertise and helped create this amazing monument. In the heart of Java Island, whispers of the past linger in the shadows. As the sun rises over Borobudur, 504 stupas cast long shadows, as if whispering the secrets of their grand design. Cut to Borobudur with shadow effects. Narrator. Prophet Solomon said, Mr. Optics boomed, "Make the shadows a sign of my temple." Cut to Mount Merapi with shadow effects. Narrator. Mr. Geography dashed to Mount Merapi. Gazing at the mountain's silhouette, he said, "Let this peak cast the shadow of my power." Cut to Prambanan with shadow effects. Narrator. Mr. Art stepped into Prambanan, admiring the harmony of the three towering shrines, 154 feet tall. Prophet Solomon declared, "Let these shadows echo my harmony." Cut to Kraton with shadow effects. Narrator. Mr. Culture sat in the Kraton observing the shadow of the Yogyakarta monument. "This pillar," he mused, "let the shadow of my palace endure forever." Narrator. Mr. Scientist chuckled. "You think Prophet Solomon directed shadows? It's just the sun." Mr. Optics retorted, "Allah's son. Prophet Solomon commanded the jinn and the wind, the sacred shadows of Borobudur, the majestic silhouette of Merapi, the harmonious shadows of Prambanan, the eternal silhouette of the Kraton, all his doing." Narrator. They envisioned Prophet Solomon standing in the heart of Java, jinn tracing the temple shadows, wind carrying clouds, birds following silhouettes, the Kraton's shadow becoming art. He smiled. "My shadows come from Allah." Cut to a peaceful landscape with shadows of Narrator. Mr. Art proclaimed, "Fahmi sees it, Prophet Solomon's shadows live." Mr. Scientist countered, "It's just optics." Mr. Optics smiled. "Allah's optics. Look closely." Narrator. The Quran states, "Do you not see how Allah has created 7 heavens one above the other and made the moon therein a light and made the sun a lamp?" Nur 71:15-16. Cut to visuals of scientific explanations. Narrator. Science explains Borobudur's shadows. Optics experts say the rising sun casts the silhouettes of the stupas, 504 eastward, stretching 328 feet in the morning. Merapi's silhouette, geography experts state the 616-foot peak creates a massive shadow, visible for 18 miles in the afternoon. Prambanan's 3 shadows, art experts say the 154-foot towers create harmonious silhouettes, aligned with ancient solstices. The Kraton shadow, culture experts state the 49-foot pillar casts a long shadow during ceremonies, symbolizing eternity. Narrator. Fahmi Basya suggests Prophet Solomon painted these shadows. Borobudur's sacred silhouette, 19x19, Merapi's shadow of power, Prambanan's shadow of unity, the Kraton's palace silhouette. Science calls it natural optics. The sun and angles create shadows, not Prophet Solomon, 900 BC. But the alignment of these silhouettes is peculiar. Perhaps Prophet Solomon inspired Java's shadows. Hypothesis. Jinn arranged the angles, wind carried clouds, creating Nusantara's divine silhouettes. Narrator. The Quran invites us to ponder shadows. Prophet Solomon, with his knowledge, An-Naml 27:15, and power, might have made Nusantara shadowed for Allah. Borobudur's sacred shadows, Merapi's majestic silhouette, Prambanan's harmonious shadows, the Kraton's eternal shadow, all signs of his greatness. The Quran encourages reflection on shadows. Fahmi envisions Java filled with Prophet Solomon's shadows, from temples to palaces, proof he brought divine silhouettes to Nusantara, perhaps connecting Saba to Java. Cut to visuals of critical thinking tips. Narrator: critical thinking tip, Prophet Solomon's shadows, or just beautiful optics in Java. Investigate, are there peculiar silhouettes on Borobudur's stupas, Merapi's peak, Prambanan's towers, the Kraton's pillar? If so, why are these shadows so arranged like art? Go watch the sunset, what do you feel? Cut to visuals of supporting facts. Narrator: supporting facts. Borobudur, 504 stupa shadows, 328 feet. Merapi, 616-foot silhouette, 18 miles. Prambanan, 154-foot harmonious shadows. Kraton, 49-foot pillar shadow. Shadows at each location, strange if there's no meaning. Fahmi links it to Prophet Solomon. Science says Javanese optics, but these silhouettes open room for speculation. Cut to visuals of closing statement. Narrator: episode 23 synthesizes Prophet Solomon's shadows, Borobudur's silhouette, Merapi's shadow, Prambanan's harmony. The Kraton's eternity become divine shadows, following Fahmi Basya's theory. From episode 1, tracing the kingdom, to episode 22, spiritual essence, we add the dimension of shadows, Java silhouetted with Prophet Solomon. Humorous narrative, Mr. Optics versus Mr. Scientist, brings to life the clash of faith versus science with the Quran, scientific analysis, reflection, critical thinking tips, and supporting facts backing this idea. This video reaches 23 episodes. It can conclude as a complete picture of Prophet Solomon or continue to episode 24 if desired. Scene 24 combines the spaces of Prophet Solomon, the symmetry of Borobudur, the distance of Merapi, the dimensions of Prambanan, the area of Kraton, into a divine dimension, according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From scene 1, tracing the kingdom, to scene 23, shadows, we've been adding spatial dimensions, Java measured through the lens of Prophet Solomon. The narrative humor, Mr. Geometry versus Mr. Scientist, brings to life the debate between faith and science with the Quran, scientific analysis, reflection, critical thinking prompts, and supporting facts backing up this idea. This video has reached 24 scenes. It can be concluded as a complete structure of Prophet Solomon, or continue to scene 25 if you wish. Supporting facts: Borobudur, 123 x 123 meters, 504 stupas. Merapi, 30 kilometers to Borobudur, 25 kilometers to Prambanan. Prambanan, 47 meters high, 3 aligned corners. Kraton, 300 x 300 meters, the space at each site, strange if not meaningful. Fahmi links it to Prophet Solomon. Science calls it Javanese geometry, but these dimensions open up room for speculation. Cut to closing statement. Critical thinking prompt: Prophet Solomon's space, or just clever Javanese geometry? Investigate, are there strange angles in Borobudur's symmetry? Merapi's distance, Prambanan's dimensions, Kraton's space. If so, why are these spaces so arranged like a design? Go measure it yourself, what do you think? Cut to supporting facts. The Quran invites us to reflect on space. Prophet Solomon, with his knowledge, An-Naml 27:15, and power, might have made Nusantara dimensional for Allah. The sacred symmetry of Borobudur, the strategic distance of Merapi, the harmonious dimensions of Prambanan, the eternal space of Kraton, all signs of his greatness. The Quran encourages reflection on space. Fahmi envisions Java filled with Prophet Solomon's spaces, from temples to palaces, evidence that he brought a divine dimension to Nusantara, perhaps connecting Saba to Java. Fahmi Basya suggests that Prophet Solomon arranged these spaces. The sacred symmetry of Borobudur, 19 x 19, the divine distance of Merapi, the dimensions of Prambanan's oneness with God, the palace space of Kraton. Science calls it Javanese engineering. Sailendra, Rakai Pikatan, Hamenkubuwono understood geometry, not Prophet Solomon, 900 BC. However, the precision of the space is strange. Perhaps Prophet Solomon inspired the Javanese dimensions hypothesis. Jinn measuring angles, wind-carrying lines, creating Nusantara's divine space. Cut to Quranic reflection. Science reveals Borobudur's symmetry. Experts state its 123 x 123 meters and 10 levels create a balanced space, with 504 stupas arranged precisely. Merapi's distance, geographers state it's 30 kilometers to Borobudur, 25 kilometers to Prambanan, forming a strategic triangle. Prambanan's dimensions, archaeologists emphasize its 47-meter-high towers and aligned corners harmonizing with cosmic principles. Kraton's space, cultural experts describe its 300 x 300 meters size, and the Yogya monument embodying eternal symmetry. The Quran states, "And the heaven we constructed with strength, and indeed we are its expander." Az-Zariyat 51:47. Mr. Geometry smiles. Allah's mathematics, measure carefully. Mr. Scientist argues, this is just basic math. Mr. Technology asserts, Fahmi sees it, Prophet Solomon's space is alive. Cut to Mr. Scientist. They imagine Prophet Solomon standing in central Java, jinn aligning angles, wind carrying lines, birds marking distances. Kraton as the center, he smiles. My space is from Allah. Cut to Mr. Technology. Mr. Geometry replies, Allah's geometry. Prophet Solomon commanded the jinn, Borobudur's sacred symmetry, Merapi's strategic distance, Prambanan's harmonious dimensions, and Kraton's eternal space, all his domain. Mr. Scientist laughs. You think Prophet Solomon was a space architect? This is just Javanese geometry? The archaeologist sits inside the Kraton, measuring its vast area. This palace, he says thoughtfully, Prophet Solomon said, let my domain be balanced. Mr. Technology examines the towering spires of Prambanan Temple. These towers, he muses, Prophet Solomon declared, let these dimensions echo my harmony. The geographer climbs Mount Merapi, calculating its strategic distance. He declared, let distance connect my mountains. Mr. Geometry stands before Borobudur, measuring its precise dimensions. Prophet Solomon said, let space perfect my temple. In the heart of Java Island, whispers of ancient geometry echo through the ages. As the sun rises, the symmetry of Borobudur Temple emerges, its 123-meter expanse a testament to divine proportions. In the heart of Java, shadows whisper tales of the past. The sun rises at Borobudur, 504 stupas casting long shadows as if whispering secrets of a grand design. Prophet Solomon said, Mr. Optics muses, let there be shadows as a sign of my temple. At Mount Merapi, Mr. Geography gazes at the mountain's impressive shadow. He declared, let this peak paint a shadow of my power. At Prambanan, Mr. Art admires the harmony of the three towering temples, more than 47 meters tall. Prophet Solomon proclaimed, let these shadows echo my harmony. Finally, Mr. Culture sits at the Kraton, observing the shadow of the Tugu Yogyakarta monument. This pillar, he states, let the shadow of my palace be eternal. Gap 2. S. Mr. Scientist laughs. You think Prophet Solomon directed shadows? It's just the sun? Mr. Optics retorts. Allah's son. Prophet Solomon commanded jinns and wind, Borobudur's sacred shadows, Merapi's majestic silhouette, Prambanan's harmonious shadows, the Kraton's eternal silhouette, all his. They imagine Prophet Solomon standing in the heart of Java, jinns arranging temple shadows, wind carrying clouds, birds following silhouettes, the Kraton's shadow becoming art. He smiles. My shadows come from Allah. Mr. Art exclaims, Fahmi sees it. Prophet Solomon's shadows are alive. Mr. Scientist interjects, it's just optics. Mr. Optics smiles. Allah's optics, look closely. The Quran states, do you not see how Allah has created 7 heavens, one above the other, and made the moon therein a light and made the sun a burning lamp? Nur 71:15-16. Science explains Borobudur's shadows. Experts say the rising sun creates silhouettes of the 504 stupas to the east, stretching 100 meters in the morning. Merapi's silhouette, geographers state the 930-meter peak casts a massive shadow visible for 30 kilometers in the evening. The shadows of the 3 Prambanan temples, art experts, say the 47-meter towers create a harmonious silhouette, aligning with ancient solstices. The shadow of the Kraton's Tugu, cultural experts say the 15-meter pillar's long shadow during ceremonies symbolizes eternity. Fahmi Basya suggests Prophet Solomon painted these shadows, Borobudur's sacred silhouette, 19x19, Merapi's shadow of power, Prambanan's shadow of unity, the Kraton's palace silhouette. Science calls it natural optics. The sun and angles create shadows, not Prophet Solomon, 900 BC. But this alignment of silhouettes is peculiar. Perhaps Prophet Solomon inspired Java's shadows. A hypothesis: jinns arranging angles, wind carrying clouds, creating Nusantara's sacred silhouettes. The Quran invites us to ponder shadows. Prophet Solomon, with his knowledge, An-Naml 27:15, and power, might have made Nusantara shadowed for Allah. Borobudur's sacred shadows, Merapi's majestic silhouette, Prambanan's harmonious shadows, the Kraton's eternal shadow, all signs of his greatness. The Quran encourages reflection on shadows. Fahmi envisions Java filled with Prophet Solomon's shadows, from temples to palaces, evidence that he brought sacred silhouettes to Nusantara, perhaps connecting Saba to Java. Critical thinking tip: Prophet Solomon's shadows or just beautiful optics in Java? Examine, are there extraordinary silhouettes at Borobudur's stupas, Merapi's peak, Prambanan's towers, the Kraton's pillar? If so, why are these shadows so arranged like art? Go watch the sunset. What do you feel? Supporting facts: Borobudur, 504 stupa shadows, 100 m. Merapi, 2,930 m silhouette, 30 kilometers. Prambanan, 47 m harmony shadows. Kraton, 15 m tugu shadows. Shadows at each location, peculiar if meaningless. Fahmi connects it to Prophet Solomon. Science says Javanese optics, but these silhouettes open room for speculation to that. Closing note for Chapter 23. Chapter 23 summarizes Prophet Solomon's shadows. Borobudur's silhouette, Merapi's shadow, Prambanan's harmony, the Kraton's eternity become sacred shadows, according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From Chapter 1, Kingdom's impact, to Chapter 22, Spirit, we add the dimension of shadows, Java against the backdrop of Prophet Solomon. Humorous narrative, Mr. Optics versus Mr. Scientist, brings alive faith versus science. With the Quran, scientific analysis, reflection, critical thinking tips, and facts supporting this idea. This video reaches 23 chapters. It can be concluded as a complete picture of Prophet Solomon, or continue to Chapter 24 if you wish. In the heart of Java, 4 people stand before the magnificent Borobudur. Mr. Engineering gazes in awe at the sturdy stones. Prophet Solomon said, "My power is in this temple." Mr. Geology rushes to Mount Merapi, feeling the tremors. The king said, "Mountains, show my strength." Mr. Art enters Prambanan, admiring its towers, 154 feet tall. Prophet Solomon said, "My power creates art." Mr. Culture sits in the Kraton, listening to the gamelan. "This palace," the king said, "my power is eternal." Mr. Scientist chuckles. "You think Prophet Solomon was a warrior? This is just Javanese engineering." Mr. Engineering retorts, "Engineering of God." Prophet Solomon commanded the jinn. Borobudur stands strong for thousands of years. The fiery power of Merapi, the magnificent art of Prambanan, the enduring culture of Kraton, all his power. They envision Prophet Solomon standing in the middle of Java, jinn lifting stones, wind aiding the mountain, birds guarding art, Kraton as a symbol. The king smiles, "My power comes from God." Mr. Art exclaims, "Fahmi sees this. Prophet Solomon's power lives." Mr. Scientist argues, "Just normal physics." Mr. Engineering smiles, "Physics of God, feel it deeply." The Quran states, "And to Solomon we subjected the wind and the devils, all of them skilled builders and divers." Sad 38, 36, 37. Science reveals the strength of Borobudur. Engineering experts say 2 million blocks, 394 feet x 394 feet, are earthquake resistant. 504 stupas remain intact for 1,000 years. The power of Merapi, geologists state eruptions, for example 1006-2010, released 10 megatons of energy, fertilizing 19 miles. The art of Prambanan, archaeologists state 154 feet towers and 1000 plus reliefs, show ancient skill, stable despite height. The endurance of Kraton, cultural experts state teakwood, 984 feet, and gamelan endure since 1755, a strong symbol. Fahmi Basya suggests Prophet Solomon channeled power. Borobudur's strength signifies Jinn, 19x19, Merapi's sacred fire, Queen of Sheba's art in Prambanan, Kraton Palace's might. Science calls it Javanese ingenuity. Sailendra, Rakai, Pikatan, Hamenkubu Wono created power, not Prophet Solomon, 900 BC. But the strength is strange. Perhaps Prophet Solomon inspired Javanese power. Hypothesis. Jinn built strength, wind-aided energy, creating sacred power in Nusantara. The Quran invites reflection on power. Prophet Solomon, with wisdom, an-Naml 27:15, and might may have instilled strength in Nusantara. Borobudur's strength, Merapi's power, Prambanan's magnificent art, Kraton's enduring culture, all signs of his power. The Quran encourages pondering power. Fahmi envisions Java filled with Prophet Solomon's power, from temple to palace, proof he brought sacred power to Nusantara, perhaps linking Sabah to Java. Critical thinking. Tip: is it Prophet Solomon's power or Javanese skill in strong construction? Examine: are there unique signs in Borobudur's strength, Merapi's energy, Prambanan's art, Kraton's culture? If it's ordinary, why does this strength last for thousands of years? Go feel it yourself. What do you feel? Supporting facts: Borobudur, 2 million strong blocks, 504 stupas; Merapi, 10 megatons, energy, 19 miles; Prambanan, 154 feet, stable art; Kraton, 984 feet, enduring. Power is present at each site. Strange if it's meaningless. Fahmi links it to Prophet Solomon. Science says Javanese engineering, but this strength allows for speculation. Closing note for Scene 26. Scene 26 synthesizes Prophet Solomon's power. Borobudur's strength, Merapi's energy, Prambanan's art, Kraton's endurance become sacred power, according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From Scene 1, Tracing the Kingdom, to Scene 25, Silhouettes, we add the dimension of power. Java is energized by Prophet Solomon. Humorous narrative, Mr. Engineering versus Mr. Scientist, brings to life the clash of faith versus science with the Quran, scientific analysis, reflection, critical thinking tips, and supporting facts backing this idea. This video reaches 26 scenes, concluded as the complete power of Prophet Solomon. Or continue to Scene 27 if you wish. In the heart of Java, 4 friends stand before the magnificent Borobudur. The philosopher, amazed by its intricate design, says, Prophet Solomon said, "With my wisdom arrange this temple." The geologist rushes to Mount Merapi, observing its fertile cycle. He said, "Mountain, show my wisdom." The artist enters Prambanan, admiring its reliefs, these 150-foot towers. Prophet Solomon said, "My wisdom in art." The culture enthusiast sits in the Kraton, listening to gamelan. "This palace," he said, "my wisdom endures." The scientist laughs. "You think Prophet Solomon was a philosopher? This is just Javanese ingenuity." The philosopher replies, "This is Allah's wisdom." Prophet Solomon was given wisdom, Borobudur's strong design, Merapi's fertile fire, Prambanan's deep art, Kraton's lasting culture, all his wisdom. They imagine Prophet Solomon standing in the middle of Java, jinns building with intellect, wind aiding cycles, birds teaching art, Kraton as the center of wisdom. He smiles, "My wisdom comes from Allah." The artist exclaims, "Fahmi sees it, Prophet Solomon's wisdom lives." The scientist argues, "Logic is simple." The philosopher smiles, "Allah's logic, think deeply." The Quran states, "And we bestowed upon David and Solomon knowledge, and they said, Praise be to Allah who has preferred us." An-Naml 27:15. Science reveals Borobudur's wisdom. Engineering experts say 2 million blocks, 390 x 390 feet, arranged without mortar, lasting for 1,000 years, 504 stupas symbolizing intellect. Merapi's fertility, geologists state eruption cycles, for example 1006, yield rich soil, wise use of fire. Prambanan's art, archaeologists note 1000 plus reliefs, 150 feet, narrate epic tales showing profound thought. Kraton's culture, anthropologists note gamelan and teakwood, 980 feet, create clever traditions eternally enduring. Fahmi Basya proposes Prophet Solomon channeled wisdom. Borobudur's strong design, 62 x 62 feet. Merapi's divine fertility, Queen of Sheba's Prambanan art. Kraton Palace's wisdom. Science calls it Javanese brilliance. Selendra Rakai Pikatan. Hamengkubuwono used intellect, not Prophet Solomon, 900 BC. But this wisdom is strange. Maybe Prophet Solomon inspired Javanese wisdom. Hypothesis: jinns built with intellect, wind-aided cycles, creating divine wisdom in Nusantara. The Quran invites reflection on wisdom. Prophet Solomon, bestowed with wisdom by Allah, An-Naml 27:15, might have planted wisdom in Nusantara. Borobudur's strong design, Merapi's wise fertility, Prambanan's deep art, Kraton's lasting culture, all signs of his knowledge. The Quran encourages us to ponder wisdom. Fahmi envisions Java filled with Prophet Solomon's wisdom, from temples to palaces, evidence he brought divine wisdom to Nusantara, perhaps connecting Sabah with Java. Critical thinking tip: is it Prophet Solomon's wisdom or Javanese ingenuity? Examine, are there unique designs in Borobudur's resilience, Merapi's fertility, Prambanan's art, Kraton's culture? If it's ordinary, why has this wisdom endured for thousands of years? Go and experience it yourself. What do you feel? Supporting facts. Borobudur, 2 million clever blocks, 504 stupas. Merapi, fertile from 19-mile eruptions. Prambanan, 1000 plus reliefs, 150 feet. Kraton, clever gamelan, 980 feet. Wisdom is present at each site, strange if it's meaningless. Fahmi connects it to Prophet Solomon. Science says Javanese ingenuity, but this wisdom leaves room for speculation. Closing notes for Chapter 27. Chapter 27 summarizes Prophet Solomon's wisdom, Borobudur's strong design, Merapi's fertile cycle, Prambanan's deep art, Kraton's lasting culture become divine wisdom according to Fahmi Basya's theory. From Chapter 1, tracing the kingdom, to Chapter 26, power, we add the dimension of wisdom. Java is imbued with Prophet Solomon's wisdom. A humorous narrative, the philosopher versus the scientist, brings to life the clash of faith versus science with the Quran, scientific analysis, reflection, critical thinking tips, and supporting facts backing this idea. This video reaches 27 chapters. It can be concluded as complete wisdom of Prophet Solomon, or continue to Chapter 28 if you wish. The island of Java, home to Borobudur, is famous for its beautiful green landscapes. It has rich volcanic soil. It's an island bursting with life, a tapestry of vibrant cultures and ancient traditions. This book highlights how important Java's location is. It suggests that its natural resources and strategic location would have been very attractive to a ruler like Solomon. Known for his desire for exotic goods and for expanding his trade routes, Solomon might have wanted to establish a presence in this resource-rich region. The book speculates that Solomon's ships, loaded with treasures and skilled craftsmen, may have sailed across the Indian Ocean to reach the shores of Java. This journey, if it happened, would have been a huge undertaking, requiring advanced navigation skills and a deep understanding of the monsoon winds. The potential for trading spices, precious metals, and exotic animals would have been a strong economic incentive for such an expedition. Borobudur and the legacy of Prophet Solomon invites us to imagine a time when ancient civilizations interacted across vast distances, leaving behind fascinating clues about their encounters. Borobudur and Peninggalan Nabi Sulaiman draws a fascinating connection between verses in the Quran and specific locations. One such location is the ant dam, mentioned in the Quran as the place where Solomon and his army encountered an ant colony. The book proposes that the ant dam may be located in or near Java, further strengthening the link between Solomon and this region. The Quranic story portrays Solomon's compassion for the ants. It highlights his wisdom in recognizing the importance of even the smallest creatures. This story underscores Islam's emphasis on environmental awareness and respect for all living things. By connecting the ant dam to Java, the book encourages a deeper appreciation for nature and the interconnectedness of all things. Chapter 5: Ancient Languages. Deciphering the clues in names and places. This book examines etymology, exploring the origins and meanings of names and places associated with Solomon and Borobudur. It suggests that linguistic analysis can provide valuable insights into historical connections. For example, this book examines the word Borobudur itself, suggesting possible links to ancient languages and their potential connections to Solomon's era. Borobudur and the legacy of Prophet Solomon encourages readers to approach history with a critical eye. It reminds us that language can be a powerful tool for reconstructing the past. By tracing the evolution of words and their meanings across different cultures and time periods, we can uncover hidden connections and gain a deeper understanding of historical events. Chapter 6: Science Meets Scripture. Unveiling the Natural Wonders of Solomon's Realm. This book doesn't shy away from scientific inquiry. It tries to provide a plausible explanation for some of the more fantastical elements associated with Solomon's reign. For example, it explores the natural world to find possible real-world counterparts to creatures mentioned in Quranic narratives. It suggests that animals with unique characteristics or behaviors might have inspired the tales of mythical creatures. By grounding its analysis in scientific principles, Borobudur and the Legacy of Prophet Solomon aims to bridge the gap between faith and reason. It encourages readers to approach ancient texts with both curiosity and a critical mind. Through this approach, the book highlights the compatibility of religious belief and scientific exploration. Chapter 7, Wonders of the World, Architectural Marvels attributed to Solomon's reign. Borobudur and the Legacy of Prophet Solomon examines the architectural wonders linked to Solomon's rule, both in Islamic tradition and historical records. It highlights the advanced engineering and craftsmanship involved in constructing these structures, suggesting that Solomon's influence may have fostered a golden age of architectural innovation. The book draws parallels between the architectural styles of structures associated with Solomon and those found in ancient Southeast Asia, raising fascinating possibilities of cultural exchange and shared knowledge. By examining the architectural achievements of the past, Borobudur and the Legacy of Prophet Solomon encourages readers to appreciate the ingenuity and artistry of ancient civilizations. It reminds us that our ancestors possessed remarkable skills and knowledge, leaving behind a legacy of awe-inspiring structures that continue to inspire wonder and debate today. Chapter 8, Beyond the Surface. Uncovering hidden narratives through interdisciplinary exploration. On its surface, Borobudur and the Legacy of Prophet Sulaiman is a testament to the power of interdisciplinary exploration. This book seamlessly blends insights from Islamic mythology, archaeology, geography, linguistics, and science to construct its narrative. It encourages readers to look beyond the boundaries of traditional knowledge and to embrace a holistic approach to understanding the past. By employing various disciplines, this book challenges readers to question their assumptions and consider new possibilities. It highlights the interconnectedness of knowledge and the importance of approaching complex questions from multiple perspectives. Chapter 9, Legacy of Wonder, reflecting on the enduring power of ancient tales. Borobudur and the Legacy of Prophet Solomon takes us on a captivating journey into the realm of ancient stories and their enduring power. Whether one embraces its conclusions or not, this book serves as a reminder that history is not always fixed. It encourages us to approach the past with curiosity, skepticism, and a willingness to explore unconventional ideas. The book's exploration of the possible connections between Solomon, Borobudur, and Java sparks our imagination and invites us to reconsider our understanding of the ancient world. It reminds us that the past is a tapestry woven from countless threads and that each new discovery has the potential to reshape our understanding of human history and our place within it. Our narrator. In the heart of Java Island, amidst lush green scenery, stands Borobudur, a monument testament to the architectural prowess of ancient times and perhaps sacred mathematics. In this chapter, we will delve into the fascinating patterns of numbers that some believe connect Borobudur to the wisdom of Prophet Solomon. Narrator. Imagine thousands of years ago, Prophet Solomon declared, "Numbers will be the secrets of my house." Could these numbers have found their way to Borobudur? Narrator. Borobudur's measurements are truly impressive. 123 meters wide, 10 levels, 504 Buddha statues, 72 stupas on top. But what's even more intriguing is the number 19, which appears repeatedly. Geometrician. A perfect square, 123 by 123, symmetrical and balanced. Could this be a coincidence or evidence of divine inspiration? Scientist. Or you think Prophet Solomon was a math teacher? This is just the design of the clever Salendra dynasty. Cut to mathematician smiling. Mathematician, God's design. Prophet Solomon was given knowledge. 504 divided by 19 equals 26.526, almost 27. An important number in Arabic. 72 stupas on top. 72 divided by 19 equals 3.789, close to 4. The four corners of the earth. Narrator. Imagine Prophet Solomon sitting in the middle of Java Island, commanding jinns to measure with sacred numbers, the wind carrying symmetry, birds counting statues. He smiles, my mathematics comes from God. Geometrician. Fahmi Basya sees this. Borobudur as Solomon's code. Cut to scientist frowning. Scientist, coincidence. Mathematician, God's coincidence. Let's calculate again. Narrator, the Quran tells of God's knowledge of all measurements and numbers. Could the sacred wisdom of Prophet Solomon be encoded in the stones of Borobudur? Narrator, modern science attributes Borobudur's design to the 8th century Sailendra dynasty. However, the recurring number 19, found in the Quran, Al-Mudaththir 74:30, and Borobudur's earthquake-resistant symmetry, hint at sacred mathematics. Could Prophet Solomon have inspired jinns to create this sacred number code, bringing it to Java? Narrator, God created the universe with precise measurements. Prophet Solomon was bestowed with knowledge, and Naml 27:15, perhaps embedded mathematics in Borobudur. 504 statues, almost 19 x 27, 72 stupas, almost 19 x 4, 123 meters, almost 19 x 6, symbols of unity and sacred harmony. Narrator, critical thinking tip. Are these numbers Prophet Solomon's or just a coincidence of the Sailendra dynasty? Investigate, does dividing 504, 72, 123 by 19 have any meaning? If not Prophet Solomon, why such strange symmetry and durability for the 8th century? Try counting yourself. What do you find? Narrator, Borobudur's numbers. 123 meters, 504 statues, 72 stupas, 10 levels. Fahmi Basya sees Solomon's code in 19, a sign of unity and sacred harmony. While mathematicians and geometricians debate with scientists, all agree. Borobudur's symmetry and durability are extraordinary for ancient times. Science says Sailendra, faith says Solomon. Which do you choose? If you want to study further, link other numbers or places, or continue to the next chapter. Let us know what's next. Narrator, in the heart of Java, just a stone's throw from Borobudur, stands another architectural marvel, Prambanan. Here, amidst the towering spires and intricate reliefs, some see a reflection of Prophet Solomon's wisdom, immortalized in numbers. Mr. Mathematician. Prophet Solomon once said, "Numbers will be my fortress." Narrator, Prambanan's main tower stands tall at 47 meters, surrounded by 3 large towers, further encircled by 224 smaller temples, and adorned with over 1,000 relief panels. Mr. Mathematician, look at this, harmony in 3, just like the concept of Tawhid, oneness of God. Mr. Geometries, 3 towers, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, arranged in a perfect square of 110 by 110 meters. Could Prophet Solomon have commanded the jinn to arrange these sacred numbers? Mr. Scientist, you think Prophet Solomon was a Hindu architect. This is the work of Rakai Pikatan from the 9th century. Mr. Mathematician, an architect of God, Prophet Solomon was bestowed with knowledge. 47 is not perfectly divisible by 19, but the 3 towers reflect the divine Trinity, and the 224 smaller temples form a harmonious multiple. Narrator, imagine Prophet Solomon standing in the heart of Java, directing the jinn to measure with sacred numbers, the wind carrying harmony, birds counting the reliefs. He smiles. My mathematics comes from God. Mr. Geometry. Fahmi Basya sees this. Prambanan as Prophet Solomon's code. Mr. Scientist. Just a coincidence. Mr. Mathematician. A coincidence from God. Let's calculate again. Narrator. The Quran states, indeed, all things we created with precise measure. Al-Qamar 54:49. God's precision in numbers and harmony. Narrator. Modern science attributes Prambanan's design to the 9th century Sailendra dynasty. The main tower, Shiva, stands at 47 meters, flanked by 2 side towers, Vishnu and Brahma, at 33 meters each. There are 3 main towers, 3 vehicle temples, Nandi, Garuda, Angsa, and 224 smaller temples surrounding them. Fahmi Basya, the 3 main towers reflect Tawhid, God, Prophet, Scripture. 47 meters is not perfectly divisible by 19, 2.473, but the 224 small temples equal 56 times 4. 56 divided by 19 is approximately 2.947, close to 3. And the total number of temples, 3 plus 3 plus 224 equals 230, indicates balance. Narrator. Science says there was no prophet Solomon, 900 BC in the 9th century, but Prambanan's harmony and balance hint at divine mathematics, despite its Hindu origins. Could Prophet Solomon have inspired the jinn to create this harmony, bringing it to Java? Narrator. God creates with precise measure. Prophet Solomon was gifted with knowledge, An-Naml 27:15, perhaps embedding harmony in Prambanan. 3 towers, Tawhid, 224 small temples, close to 19x12, 47 meters, divine power, signs of divine wisdom. Narrator. Fahmi sees Prambanan as Prophet Solomon's fortress, numbers as proof of divine harmony, inviting us to calculate and contemplate. Narrator. Critical thinking tip. Do Prambanan's numbers belong to Prophet Solomon or Rakai Pikatan's design? Examine. Do the 3 towers, 224 temples and 47 meters hold a specific code? If not Prophet Solomon, why such grand harmony and balance for the 9th century? Try calculating yourself. What do you find? Narrator. Prambanan's numbers, 47 meters, 3 towers, 224 small temples, over 1,000 reliefs. Fahmi Basya sees Prophet Solomon's harmony in the 3 and the balance, symbols of Tawhid and divine wisdom. While Mr. Mathematician and Mr. Geometry debate with Mr. Scientist, all agree Prambanan's precision and beauty are extraordinary for its time. Science says Rakai Pikatan, faith says Prophet Solomon. What's your choice? If you want to analyze other numbers like Merapi or Kraton, or move on to the next for chapter 29, let us know. What's next? Narrator. In the heart of Yogyakarta stands the majestic Kraton Yogyakarta, a palace rich in history and beautiful architecture. But behind its grandeur, there's a fascinating network of mathematics believed to be connected to the wisdom of Prophet Solomon. Prophet Solomon once said, "Numbers are my fortress." In this Kraton, we find a complex measuring 300 by 300 meters, with the Tugu Yogyakarta standing 15 meters tall, 7 main gates and 9 main halls. Look, 7 and 9 sacred numbers. Mr. Geometry. A perfect rectangle of 300 meters with the Tugu right in the center. Maybe Prophet Solomon directed the jinn to arrange these sacred numbers. Mr. Scientist. You think Prophet Solomon was a sultan or something? This is the design of Hamengkubuwono from the 18th century. Mr. Mather. Architect of Allah. Prophet Solomon was blessed with wisdom. 300 divided by 19 equals approximately 15.789, close to 16. A celestial harmony, 7 gates, 9 halls, signs of divine grace and perfection. Mr. Geometry. Fahmi Basya sees it. The Kraton is Solomon's code. Mr. Scientist, a pure coincidence. Mr. Coincidence from Allah. Let's calculate some more. Narrator. The Quran states, "Who has created 7 heavens one above another?" Al-Mulk 67:3. Allah creates with numbers and perfection. Narrator. Modern science attributes the Kraton's design to the 18th century ruler Hamengkubuwono. This complex, measuring approximately 300 by 300 meters, includes the 15-meter-tall Tugu Yogyakarta as its symbolic center. There are 7 main gates, 9 main halls, and a gamelan orchestra within this 300-meter space. Fahmi Basya. 7 gates represent the 7 heavens, 9 halls symbolize perfection, and 300 divided by 19 equals approximately 15.789, close to 16, perhaps reflecting the layers of existence. The 15-meter-tall Tugu can't be divided by 19 perfectly, 0.789, but 7 plus 9 equals 16, complete harmony. Narrator. Today, science says there was no Prophet Solomon, 900 BC, in the 18th century, but the symmetry and numbers of the Kraton are indeed fascinating, like divine mathematics, even though it's modern Java. Could Prophet Solomon have inspired the jinn to create these sacred numbers, bringing them to the Kraton? Narrator. Allah creates with precise measurements. Prophet Solomon was blessed with wisdom. An-Naml 27:15, perhaps embedding numbers in the Kraton. 7 gates, heavens, 9 halls, perfection, 300 meters, harmony, signs of divine wisdom. Narrator. Fahmi sees the Kraton as Prophet Solomon's fortress, numbers as proof of divine harmony, inviting us to calculate and contemplate. Narrator. Critical thinking. Tip. Are the numbers of the Kraton the design of Prophet Solomon or Hamengkubuwono? Check. Do the 7 gates, 9 halls and 300 meters hold a hidden code? If not Prophet Solomon, why such incredible harmony and symmetry for the 18th century? Try calculating for yourself. What do you find? Narrator. The numbers of the Kraton. 300 meters, 15-meter Togu, 7 gates, 9 halls. Fahmi Basya sees Solomon's code in the 7 heavens, 9 perfection and symmetry, signs of divine grace and harmony. Even though Mr. Math and Mr. Geometry argue with Mr. Scientist, everyone agrees the precision of the Kraton is truly extraordinary for its time. Science says Hamen Kubuono, faith says Prophet Solomon. Which do you choose? If you want to analyze other numbers, like Merapi, or move on to the next for chapter 29, let us know. What's next? Standing on top of Mount Merapi, Mr. Geography holds a map, looking at the view. Prophet Solomon said, "Distance become the thread of my kingdom." He then measured 30 kilometers to Borobudur, 25 kilometers to Prambanan, 28 kilometers to the Kraton. Look at this, a harmonious triangle. Mr. Geometry. 30, 25, 28, almost a right triangle. Prophet Solomon directed the jinn to arrange it like that. Mr. Scientist. You think Prophet Solomon was a surveyor? This is just a natural position. Mr. Geography. Nature is God's creation. Prophet Solomon was bestowed with wisdom. 30 to Borobudur symbolizes a sacred temple. 25 to Prambanan symbolizes the harmony of 3. 28 to the Kraton symbolizes a grand palace. Narrator. Imagine Prophet Solomon standing on Merapi, directing the jinn to draw lines, the wind carrying measurements, birds marking spots. He smiles. My distance from God. Mr. Geometry. Fahmi, do you see this? Merapi is the center for Prophet Solomon. Mr. Scientist. It's just a coincidence. Mr. Geography. A coincidence from God measure again. Narrator. In the Quran, and we have spread out the earth. Adsdariyat 51:48. God arranged space precisely. Narrator. Modern science connects the distances from Merapi, geographers say, 30 kilometers to Borobudur, northwest, 25 kilometers to Prambanan, southeast, 28 kilometers to Yogyakarta Kraton, south, based on a straight line from the summit, 2,930 m. That triangle, 302 plus 252 equals sign 900 plus 625 equals 1,525. The square root of 1,525, 39 kilometers. But the distance from Borobudur to Prambanan is approximately 50 km, Earth's curvature. So it's not a perfect right triangle, but it's almost harmonious. Fahmi Basya. I see the cone of Merapi as a sign of power. 2,930 divided 19 equals 154. 21, not exact, but close to 153, an important number in Bible Quran interpretations. The triangle to other places reflects divine harmony. Science says there was no Prophet Solomon 900 BC. Merapi was formed from tectonics and lava over thousands of years. But the cone's symmetry and the strange distances, it's like sacred geometry, even though it's natural. Narrator. Hypothesis. Did Prophet Solomon inspire the jinn to shape this magnificent cone connecting the archipelago? Narrator. The Quran says, and the mountains he has fixed firmly. An-Nazi'at 79:32. God created the earth's form precisely. Prophet Solomon was bestowed with wisdom. An-Naml 27:15. Perhaps he embedded geometry within Merapi. The 930-meter cone, power. The 30-25-28 km triangle, harmony. Signs of divine greatness. Fahmi Basya. I see Merapi as Prophet Solomon's axis. Its form is proof of divine power, inviting us to measure and think. Narrator, critical thinking tip. Is Merapi's geometry the design of Prophet Solomon or just the natural layout of Java? Investigate. Do the distances of 30, 25, 28 kilometers hold a strange code? If not Prophet Solomon, why is Merapi the strategic center of sacred places? Measure it yourself. What do you find? Narrator. Merapi's numbers, 2,930 meters, a cone covering 150 square kilometers, a 30-degree slope, 30 kilometers to Borobudur, 25 kilometers to Prambanan, 28 kilometers to the Kraton. Fahmi Basya sees Solomon's code in the cone and triangle, signs of divine power and harmony. Mr. Geometry and Mr. Geology debate with Mr. Scientist. Everyone agrees Merapi is truly magnificent and strategically located in Java. Science says geology, faith says Prophet Solomon. Which do you choose? If you want to add more, for example, connect all the numbers or move on to next for chapter 29, let us know. What's next? In the heart of Java stands the majestic Mount Merapi, a volcano that fascinates scientists and spiritual seekers alike. But behind its impressive form, hidden geometric mysteries are believed to be connected to the wisdom of Prophet Solomon. Mr. Geometry. Prophet Solomon said, shape, become my mountain. Look at this, 2,930 meters high, 150 square kilometers base area, and a 30-degree slope angle. See, a perfect cone like a sign of power. Mr. Geology. Stratovolcano, radial symmetry. Solomon commanded the jinn to arrange it. Mr. Scientist. You think Prophet Solomon shaped this mountain? This is a natural geological process? Back to Mr. Geometry, who answers. Mr. Geometry, God's geology. Solomon was given power. 2,930 meters can't be divided by 19 exactly, but the triangle from Merapi to Borobudur, 30 kilometers, Prambanan, 25 kilometers, creates harmony. Narrator. Imagine Prophet Solomon standing on the peak of Merapi, commanding the jinn to form the cone, the wind smoothing the slopes, birds marking the distances. He smiles. My geometry is from God. Mr. Geology. Fahmi Basya sees this Merapi as Solomon's code. Back to Mr. Scientist. Mr. Scientist, just natural. Mr. Geometry smiles. Mr. Geometry, God's nature, measure again. Narrate. The Quran states, and the mountains he has firmly fixed. Anatsiat 79:32. God created the shape of the earth with precision. Narrator. Well, modern science links Merapi's geometry to geological processes. Height 2,930 meters as of 2025, may change after eruptions. Base area approximately 150 square kilometers, diameter approximately 14 km, and an average slope angle of 30 degrees form a symmetrical stratovolcano. Distances: 30 kilometers to Borobudur, 25 kilometers to Prambanan, 28 kilometers to Kraton. Geographers say it forms a strategic triangle in central Java. Fahmi Basya. Merapi's cone as a sign of power. 2,930 divided 19 equals 154. 21, not exact, but close to 153, an important number in Bible Quran interpretations. The triangle to other places reflects divine harmony. Science says not Solomon, 900 BC. Merapi was formed by tectonics and lava over thousands of years. But the symmetry of the cone and the strange distances, like divine geometry, even though it's natural. Narrator. Hypothesis. Did Solomon inspire the jinn to form this magnificent cone connecting the archipelago? Narrator. The Quran states, and the mountains he has firmly fixed. Anatsiat 79:32. God created the shape of the earth with precision. Solomon was bestowed with wisdom, An-Naml 27:15, perhaps embedded geometry in Merapi. Cone 2,930 meters power, triangle 30, 25, 28 km harmony, a sign of divine greatness. Fahmi Basya. Fahmi sees Merapi as Solomon's factory. Its shape is proof of divine power, inviting us to measure and think. Cut to narrator. Narrator. Critical thinking tip. Is Merapi's geometry Solomon's design or natural? Study. Cone 2,930 meters, distances 30, 25, 28 km. Are there any strange codes? If not Solomon, why the shape and strategic location for temples? Measure it yourself. What do you find? Narrator. Merapi's numbers: 2,930 meters, 150 square kilometer cone, 30 degrees slope, 30 kilometers to Borobudur, 25 kilometers to Prambanan, 28 kilometers to Kraton. Fahmi Basya sees Solomon's code in the cone and triangle, a sign of divine power and harmony. Mr. Geometry and Mr. Geology debate with Mr. Scientist. All agree. Merapi is truly magnificent and strategic in Java. Science says geology, religion says Solomon. Which one do you choose? Having analyzed the numbers of Borobudur, Prambanan, Kraton and Merapi's geometry, do you want to connect all these places or go straight to chapter 29? What's next? In the heart of Java lies Borobudur, a huge temple. Many believe it holds ancient secrets of wisdom. But what if its location isn't just a coincidence? Could it be a sacred center, carefully planned by Prophet Solomon himself? Mr. Geography, standing on Borobudur with a telescope. Prophet Solomon said distances become the center of my temple. Look here, 30 kilometers to Merapi, 50 kilometers to Prambanan, 40 kilometers to Kraton Palace. This forms a sacred triangle. Mr. Geometry enters. 30, 50, 40. A triangle with a large area. Prophet Solomon commanded the jinn to draw these lines. Mr. Scientist, laughing. You think Prophet Solomon was a map maker? This is just an arrangement chosen by the Sailendra dynasty. Mr. Geography, responding. This is Allah's arrangement. Prophet Solomon was given knowledge. 30 to Merapi symbolizes power. 50 to Prambanan symbolizes harmony. 40 to Kraton Palace symbolizes royalty. Narrator. Imagine Prophet Solomon standing in the middle of Borobudur, directing the jinn to measure distances, the wind carrying his commands, and birds marking the spots. He smiles. My distance from Allah, Mr. Geometry. Fahmi sees it now. Borobudur as Prophet Solomon's connection. Mr. Scientist, just a coincidence. Mr. Geography, a smiling. Allah's coincidence, measure again. Narrator Bow. The Quran states, He it is who has made the earth smooth for you and has made for you paths therein. Taha 20:53. Allah arranges space for his servants. Narrator, scientific analysis of Borobudur's distances, geographers state 30 kilometers to Merapi, southeast, 50 kilometers to Prambanan, southeast, 40 kilometers to Yogyakarta Palace, south, based on straight lines from the temple's center, 123x 123 meters. The triangle 302 plus 402 equal sign 900 plus 1,600 equals 2,500. The square root of 2,500 is 50 kilometers, matching the Borobudur Prambanan distance, forming a near-perfect right triangle, slightly altered due to Earth's curvature. Fahmi Basya, 30 divided 19 equals 1, 579, almost 1.5, 50 divided 19 equals 2, 632, almost 2.5, 40 divided 19 equals 2, 105, almost 2, 19 appears, a sign of oneness. Narrator. Science says it's not Prophet Solomon, 900 BC. This placement is from the Sailendra dynasty in the 8th century. But the strange distance is Borobudur as a strategically placed sacred center, like a sacred space. Hypothesis, did Prophet Solomon inspire the jinn to arrange these distances, creating a sacred triangle in the archipelago? Narrator. The Quran states, He it is who has made the earth smooth for you and has made for you paths therein. Taha 20:53. Allah arranges space for his servants. Prophet Solomon was granted knowledge, An-Naml 27:15. Perhaps these distances are embedded in Borobudur. 30 kilometers power, 50 kilometers harmony, 40 kilometers palace, a sign of divine wisdom. Fahmi Basya. Fahmi sees Borobudur as Prophet Solomon's university, distances as proof of a divine connection, inviting us to measure and reflect. Narrator. Critical thinking tip, are Borobudur's distances Prophet Solomon's design, or just the Sailendra's choice? Investigate. 30, 50, 40 kilometers, do they hold a hidden code? If not Prophet Solomon, why is this triangle nearly right-angled and so strategic? Measure for yourself. What do you find? Narrator. Supporting facts, Borobudur, 30 kilometers to Merapi, 50 kilometers to Prambanan, 40 kilometers to Kraton Palace. Arranged distances, strange without a code. 302 plus 402 equal sign, 502, 2,500. A right triangle. 30, 19.1.579, 50, 19.2.632, 40, 19.2.105 are almost harmonious. Fahmi connects this to Prophet Solomon, science says geography, but these distances open up room for speculation. Narrator. Closing note, Borobudur connects sites with distances. 30 kilometers to Merapi, 50 kilometers to Prambanan, 40 kilometers to Kraton Palace. And Fahmi Basya sees Prophet Solomon's connection in the right triangle and the number 19, a sign of divine harmony and oneness. Mr. Geography and Mr. Geometry debate with Mr. Scientist, but all agree Borobudur is strategically located in central Java. Science says Sailendra, belief says Prophet Solomon. Which do you choose? Now we've analyzed the numbers of Borobudur, Prambanan, Kraton, Merapi's geometry, Merapi's distance, and Borobudur's distance. If you want an analysis of Prambanan or Kraton's distances, or to go to chapter 29, let us know. What's next? In the heart of Java lies Borobudur, a giant monument believed to hold ancient wisdom. But what if its location is more than just a coincidence? Could it be a sacred center, carefully designed by Prophet Solomon himself? Mr. Geometry, standing at Borobudur with a compass. Solomon said, take shape, become my house. Measure it 123 by 123 meters, 10 levels, 504 stupas, a circle on top, meeting a square at the bottom. Look at this, a sacred pyramid. Mr. Math enters it. 6 square levels, 3 round terraces, 1 large stupa. Solomon taught the jinn to create harmony. Mr. Scientist, laughing. You think Solomon was an architect? This is the design of the Sailendra dynasty, Mr. Geometry responding. Designed by God, Solomon was given knowledge, 123 meters of symmetry, 10 levels leading to unity, 504 stupas forming a sacred circle. Narrator, imagine Solomon standing atop Borobudur, directing the jinn to arrange the squares, the wind carrying circles, birds marking the stupas. He smiles. My geometry is from God. Mr. Math. Fahmi, do you see this? Borobudur is Solomon's form. Mr. Scientist, it's just ordinary geometry. Mr. Geometry, smiling. God's geometry, measure again. Narrator, the Quran states, it is God who has created the seven heavens and of the earth the like thereof. His command descends among them. At Talaq 65:12. God creates with harmony. Narrator, scientific analysis. Borobudur's geometry archaeologists state that the site is a square of 123 by 123 meters, original height of 35 meters, now 31.5 meters after the earthquake. 10 levels, 6 square levels shrinking upwards, 3 circular terraces, diameter approximately 26 meters, 18 meters, 10 meters. 1 main stupa, diameter approximately 10 meters. Small stupas, 72 on the circular terraces, 24 per circle. Total Buddha statues, 504, 432 on the squares, 72 on the circles. Geometry experts claim the pyramid shape is earthquake resistant. The transition from square to circle reflects the Buddha's cosmos. Narrator, Fahmi Basya connects this, 10 levels, perfection, 6 plus 3 plus 1 equals 10, unity. 504 divided 19 equals 26. 526, close to 27 Arabic letters. Science says it's not Solomon, 900 BC. This is a Sailendra design from the 8th century. But the symmetry and its transitions are strange, like sacred geometry. Hypothesis, did Solomon inspire the jinn to form this sacred pyramid descending to Java? Narrator, why the Quran? God creates with measure. Solomon was given knowledge, An-Naml 27:15. Perhaps he applied geometry at Borobudur. 123 meters of symmetry, harmony, 10 levels towards God, 504 stupas, code of unity, a sign of divine wisdom. Fahmi sees Borobudur as Solomon's house, its form as divine proof, inviting us to measure and reflect. Narrator, critical thinking tip. Is Borobudur's geometry Solomon's design or just a Sailendra creation? Study it. 123 meters, 10 levels, 504 stupas. Does it hold a strange code? If not Solomon, why is this pyramid earthquake resistant and harmonious for the 8th century? Try measuring it yourself. What do you find? Narrator, supporting facts. Borobudur, 123 by 123 meters, 10 levels, 6 squares, plus 3 circles, plus 1 stupa, 504 stupas statues. An organized form, strange without a code. 504 on 1926.526, close to 27. 10 levels reflecting perfection. Fahmi connects this to Solomon. Science says Buddha, but this geometry opens up speculation. Narrator, closing note, Borobudur is full of geometry, 123 by 123 meters, 10 levels, 6 squares to 3 circles to 1 stupa, 504 stupas. And Fahmi Basya sees Solomon's form in the symmetry and transitions, a sign of divine harmony and unity. Mr. Geometry and Mr. Math debate with Mr. Scientist, but all agree. Borobudur is truly magnificent and strong. Science says Sailendra, belief says Solomon. What do you choose? Now we've analyzed the numbers and geometry of Borobudur, Prambanan, Kraton, Merapi, and the distance between Merapi and Borobudur. If you want to analyze the geometry of Prambanan or Kraton, or go straight to chapter 29, let us know. What's next? All right, let's dive deeper into the harmony of King Solomon's geometry. What if King Solomon's wisdom wasn't just limited to earthly structures, but extended to the patterns of stars in the sky? Cut to a starry night sky over Borobudur. Imagine King Solomon standing at the peak of Borobudur, not only commanding the elements of nature, but also understanding the stars. Could Borobudur's layout reflect the constellations he observed? Cut to an astronomer with a telescope. Astronomer. The alignment of ancient structures with celestial bodies is not a coincidence. Borobudur's orientation and symmetry might be connected to the stars that King Solomon once observed. Cut to an animated representation of the stars aligning with Borobudur's structure. The arrangement of stupas and the orientation of Borobudur might mirror constellations depicting the harmony between the sky and the earth. Cut to a historian. Historian King Solomon's era was a time of astronomical advancement. The knowledge he possessed might have been applied to architecture, creating a celestial map on Earth. Cut to an animated overlay showing the alignment of Borobudur with the Orion constellation. The Orion constellation, often associated with kings and divine protection, aligns with Borobudur's layout. Could this be proof of King Solomon's celestial wisdom? Cut to a mathematician. Mathematician, the mathematical precision required to align a structure with celestial patterns is truly impressive. It demonstrates knowledge that transcends time. Cut to a serene night sky. In the Quran it is said, "It is He who created the night and the day, the sun and the moon, each one travels in its orbit." Surah Al-Anbiya 21:33. Could King Solomon's structures be a reflection of this divine order on earth? Cut to an artist's impression of Solomon observing the stars. Imagine King Solomon gazing at the sky, mapping the stars and translating their patterns into the sacred geometry of Borobudur, a celestial harmony connecting the cosmos and the earth. Cut to a wide shot of Borobudur under a starry sky. As we continue to explore King Solomon's legacy in the archipelago, we find that his wisdom might not only be etched in stone, but also written in the stars. Fade to black. Soft music begins. Narrator, at the end of our journey through Prophet Solomon's celestial patterns, we stand at the crossroads of history, faith, and science. Solomon's wisdom, like a beautiful tapestry woven with threads of divine inspiration and mathematical precision, continues to echo through the ages. Cut to ancient scrolls being unrolled, revealing intricate geometric patterns. Narrator, imagine Prophet Solomon, a man of unparalleled wisdom, not only mapping the heavens, but also applying his celestial understanding to the structures of Earth. His influence, like a hidden symphony, continues to play through the sacred geometry of Borobudur, Prambanan, and Kraton. Cut to a mathematician drawing geometric shapes on a blackboard. Narrator, the mathematical harmony observed in these structures is not a coincidence. It echoes a deeper universal truth, one that connects ancient and modern, spiritual and scientific. Cut to a historian speaking confidently. Historian Prophet Solomon's legacy is not limited to historical records. It is living proof of the enduring power of knowledge and faith. His footprints, visible in precise alignments and sacred patterns, are a testament to a time when the divine and the worldly were in perfect harmony. Cut to an artistic depiction of Prophet Solomon standing amidst the stars, gazing towards Borobudur. Narrator, imagine Prophet Solomon, his gaze fixed upon the stars, translating their celestial dance into the sacred geometry of his earthly kingdom. This divine blueprint, etched into the stones of Borobudur, speaks of a wisdom that transcends time and space. Cut to a wide shot of Borobudur under a starry sky, transitioning to sunrise over the temple. Narrator, as the first light of dawn illuminates Borobudur, we are reminded of Prophet Solomon's eternal influence, a legacy that continues to illuminate the path for those seeking to understand the intricate balance between heaven and earth. Fade to black, soft music continues. Narrator, ultimately, the story of Prophet Solomon is not just about the past. It is a timeless narrative that invites us to explore the profound connection between faith, science, and the mysteries of the cosmos. His enduring influence remains a guiding light, inspiring us to seek harmony in our own lives and in the world around us. Fade out, music slowly fades. Narrator, call to action, sincerely for the sake of Allah. In the spirit of sincere sharing of knowledge, we invite you to subscribe, share, and like this video. As Muslims, we are instructed to spread guidance and knowledge as stated in the Quran. Invite to the way of your Lord with wisdom and good instruction. Surah An-Nahl 16:125. With every subscription, share, and like, we not only spread knowledge but also ignite the spirit of seeking truth and harmony in our lives. These actions, though seemingly small, are a part of our worship, connecting us to a larger mission of spreading truth and divine light. Fade out, music slowly fades.